any disease.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe even your sex drive is off. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Northeast Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an improved sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
The IRS finally...
1 minute.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louis was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louis found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louis has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louis.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
What happened? Come on. There we go. Yeah. It's like riding into town. What's going on, all you scallywags and nutmeggers out there? It's Reese on the radio. On News Talk 1080 WTIC, we are ready to go. We got so much news, so much views, a whole bunch of stuff for this week. We got giveaways. We've got between rounds. God, we got the yard goats. We got everything. So be prepared. I want to let you guys know that the Reese on Radio program never sleeps. I know you guys know that. I say it enough. That when there's nothing going on, I've got to do more and more research on something that I can't let go. I'm like a rabid dog, I know. And as much as I have been talking about this D-Quad thing, it has got you riled up. The more you find out about this stuff, the more you are engaged. Today, I have very, very important news about Connecticut, about Deep, and about D-Quad. This story is far from new. This story is far older than what you may know. It just didn't get a lot of attention. And because we have so much news coming at us, like lightning fast, people forget about stories in an instant because you're on to the next. DQAT was an issue in 2017, folks. And a group of very, very feisty individuals, feisty nutmeggers, were able to get between the state and their community and fought back. And I'm going to tell you the story that no one else is reporting and the news media reluctantly brought up. There is other information that we have with regards to the EPA. You may have been asking yourself, why is it that China has banned DQAT? Why is it that the United Kingdom has banned DQAT, but yet the Army Corps of Engineers has not? It sounds crazy. It sounds weird. It just makes no sense. We have an answer for you. Today, we have an answer. And all you politicians who signed on to that letter trying to protect deep the Army Corps of Engineers and the application of DQAT into the waters, you should be ashamed of yourself for coming on this program. I'm talking to you, Representative Muir, saying that the EPA has tested DQAT and it is safe. Saying that you studied this. Saying that you did your homework. Well, ma'am, I am calling you and every other Democrat who signed on to that letter, I'm calling them out today. You lied. You did no research. Because the EPA didn't do any research in the last 30 years. And we have evidence of that. You lied on this program, and you're lying to your constituents. And now we have the evidence that you did. And we're going to get to that later on today. Because Chris Webby is back on the program at 4 o'clock, and we'll talk to him. And we'll talk about the assassination of his character that people have been putting out there to say in some way that this guy's spreading rumor and innuendo and mis and disinformation. We are going to salvage that man's reputation, and as these kids say in the hood, we are going to give him his flowers. By the way, I hate that saying. We'll get into that. People say that there's a mistrust in government, Representative Muir said. Now we know why. Now, speaking of Democrats, I'd like to point out, I don't know how many people in the prison system, people locked up in jails, listen to this program. I hope that they do. I hope that they listen to the program on their little radios. I hope when they're sitting idly by in the afternoon trying to figure out something to do, they're listening to Reese on the radio because, boy, am I going to speak to you. If you've got family members who have been incarcerated, maybe just being held at a holding cell, doing what the kids call a little skid bid, maybe 1 to 3, maybe even a couple of months. Maybe you spent a little time getting locked up. You had a DUI. You as a kid, you probably committed some act of vandalism where you had to spend a little time in the pokey. This is not about judging you. I just want you to listen to this. You have Democrats down at Alligator Alcatraz this weekend. Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You got her down there. You got Maxwell Frost. He's been doing the rounds with our very own Chris Murphy. He went down there. Well, he's from Florida, but nonetheless, he went down to Alligator Alcatraz, and they had something to say about the people who were in prison there. And I want to play this for you. Anybody who's ever done a little skid bid, maybe you got locked up in the overnight, maybe you've even been to juvie. Maybe you just got out. But do you remember what it was like when you were locked up? It's incredible what these people will tell you about those who were locked up in Alligator Alcatraz. Let's play Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her concern with what it looks like, what the conditions are inside the holding cells at the new Alcatraz.
They are using cages. These detainees are living in cages. The pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. That is the only thing inside those cages are their bunk beds, and there are 3 tiny toilets that are toilet units that have a sink attached to it.
Now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is describing this to people who don't know what prisons or jails look like. A majority of Americans do not. But those of you who do, you know what you heard. Tiny toilets with sinks attached to them, as she describes the conditions inside Alligator Alcatraz. But if this bozo knew anything, that's exactly what our prison systems look like everywhere. Everywhere. It's a toilet where behind it there is a water fountain / sink. It's right behind it. It's been there forever. These aren't new toilet sink attachments that they invented for Alligator Alcatraz. They're everywhere. They are mass-produced for the prison systems in and around the country, if not internationally. These weren't specially made, but because Wasserman Schultz has clearly never visited an actual prison anywhere in her district or around the country, she would know. So when she saw those toilets with the sinks attached, all the clutching of pearls began.
So they essentially drink, they get their drinking water, and they brush their teeth where they poop.
It's called the bathroom. Just today, I was brushing my teeth, and to the left, hey, there's where I poop. To my left. Every bathroom across the world has a sink and a toilet right in the same room, right practically next to each other. Try to live in an apartment in New York City where it's really, really small. I mean, they're practically attached to each other. So she's trying to shock the world by these conditions. Oh, it gets better.
In the same unit. They bragged that they went above standards, supposedly, and gave them a 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length inside the 32 detainee cage. A 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length of the 3 toilets in a row.
Any local prison, any local, jail housing area, same deal. That's standard.
The showers provide no privacy at all. There are no curtains on it. It's a big open shower unit. There are, small walls in each shower.
Did you think this was a spa? It's an open air shower area, just like any high school gymnasium. Have you ever been to one? An open air shower. There's no private suites inside the showers. They usually suggest to the men that are in there to keep on their underwear and wash their clothing so that people aren't, totally nude. But nonetheless, it's an open air shower area. This isn't common to just prisons. Have you ever watched Porky's or any other high school sophomoric comedy? Usually if there is a scene inside the showers, all the boys are just hanging out. All the girls are just hanging out inside the showers. It's been a standard for generations.
But, we're talking about all 900 men who are held in this facility. It is built currently for 1,000, and they have no privacy at all when they're showering.
They have no privacy. But it gets better, folks. It gets better. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Sorry, it's the bad habit. Debbie Wasserman Schultz went on to talk about the food and the food disparities between the inmates and the guards.
For meals, when we walked through the quote-unquote meal prep area, the kitchen area, for lack of a better term, they had the portions that were available for detainees, and they had the portions that were available for employees being...
Yeah, detainees and employees. Completely different people on this pyramid. The employees who work there, who would probably want some benefits to coming to work, maybe, I don't know, healthcare, dental, perhaps a decent meal, so they can continue coming back to get their salary, right? Some sort of benefit package that comes with the work. I don't think that you would get people to return to the job on Alcatraz if they were getting the same portions of the people who were locked up in Alligator Alcatraz. But she went on.
Prepared at the same time. The portions available for employees, large pieces of roast chicken, large sausages, and the detainees' lunches were a small, gray turkey and cheese sandwich, an apple, and chips.
Oh my goodness, the horror! They got turkey and cheese. Unlike the bologna sandwich that every other standard op prison gets. The bologna and bread, and maybe get some mayonnaise with it. The usual dry bologna sandwich you get in prison. These folks got turkey and cheese. Ooh, the outrage. Now listen, again, if you are locked up right now and you have your little radio and you're listening to the program, I know right now you are outraged. You are livid. You would go, what are these people complaining about? These conditions are far better than what your average citizen goes through at the regular county. That's what they're complaining about? Here's Maxwell Frost. He was upset that there were people in there who looked just like him.
They opened the door. There was about 6 security guards standing there, kind of pushing us back, but we could see in and we could hear everybody. And when those doors opened, what I saw made my heart sink. I saw 32 people per cage, about 6 cages in the one tent. I saw a lot of people, young men who looked like me and people who were my age. People were yelling, help me, help me. I heard in the back someone say, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Sure you did.
And as we were walking away, they started chanting, libertad, libertad.
That's not English.
Libertad, freedom.
What? Of course they're screaming freedom. They probably recognize your dodo bird behind from the television. Hey, that's a Democrat. Scream freedom. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us out of jail. Yeah. Scream libertad, libertad, freedom, freedom. I'm a U.S. citizen. They know who you are. They know what you were doing. They were putting on a show. You have empathy for them.
And in looking into these cages, you could see, of course, it was warm and hot within the tent. People were sweating.
Goodness gracious. Sweating in the heat, unheard of.
Some people had taken off the top of their clothing.
You mean shirts? You mean shirts, Max?
Because it was just so hot. Some of them were drenched in sweat. The food we saw is not enough food. They're being fed essentially a small sandwich and a bag of chips.
Oh. They're getting chips. Hey, you guys over at County, are you guys getting chips?
And not just that, but the conditions outside, of course, it's blazing hot.
It's Florida.
And the fact that into the cage comes from the toilet number one, not everyone's going to be able to drink as much water as they'd like to because of that inconvenience, but also it's gross and it's disgusting. And this is where people are being held.
Yes, that's right. That's where they're being held, Max. Rama says something great in the chat room. They yelled Libertad in the movie Scarface, too. I was thinking that, too, when I heard it. It's exactly what I heard. Jeff Carlin says, I just ate chips. When we come back, I'm going to tell you what all of this is for. And again, if you've ever been locked up in county, and you know what your experience was like, I want to tell you why Democrats are so outraged at this, but not outraged about you and your fellow comrades who are locked up today. We'll break that down. We'll take a break. More news, more views. Don't go anywhere. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Matt Soroyce, and I know with the temperatures heating up, sometimes wearing that extra layer of clothing isn't exactly summer-friendly, but we may be trying to cover up those pesky extra pounds from the holiday season. Wouldn't it be better to feel comfortable in just a single layer while you're having fun in the sun? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get to whatever goal you have in mind. Maybe you have low energy, joint or muscle pain, and all you want to do is go for a hike or a swim, a few laps, without feeling like you're so winded. Awaken 180 Weight Loss can get you there too. With Awaken's one-on-one coaching from the amazing counselors, they will walk you through every step to get you to your goal weight. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. They have helped over 25,000 people lose the weight and lose the weight for good. Just imagine where you could be by Labor Day if you just give them a call today. So come on, let's make this summer the one where we feel our best. Set up your free consultation today at 844-346-1800 or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
HartfordLatinoFest.com is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Saturday, July 12th from noon until 7 at Duncan Park, downtown Hartford. This family event is free. You'll enjoy live Latin bands, local groups, Latin food, drinks, and much more. For info, call Luna at 860-983-5629 or go to HartfordLatinoFest.com. Latino Fest is proudly supported by Price Right, Hartford Yard Goats, Attorney Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford's Town and Clerk's Office, Liberty Bank, Kia of East Hartford, Connecticut, Greater Hartford Regional School Choice Office, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We got a flash flood warning for parts of Hartford County from now till about 3:30. Forecast details coming up from meteorologist Bob Cox. The man convicted in the beating death of the mother of his child was sentenced to 65 years behind bars today. Jose Morales was convicted last April in the beating death of Christine Holloway in her Ansonia home nearly 6 years ago. Their daughter, Vanessa, 14 months old at the time, has not been found. The names of two people killed in a head-on collision in Colchester have been released by state police. 27-year-old Carlos Bauer and 28-year-old Jennifer Leinbach died when their cars hit head-on and rolled over Sunday on Cato Corbin Road. 4 others were injured, including a pregnant woman. Governor Lamont activating the state's extreme hot weather protocol, with temps expected to be in the 90s from tomorrow through Friday, along with high humidity. The governor says state agencies will partner with United Way 211 to look out for those most in need. Flames roared through an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts, killing 9 and trapping residents inside, including some who leaned out of windows and screamed for help. At least 30 were injured. Wildfire in the Grand Canyon's North Rim has destroyed the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and other structures. That fire was sparked by lightning on July 4th and grew rapidly due to high winds and dry conditions. And the state's governor, Katie Hobbs, has called for a federal investigation into the National Park Service's decision to initially manage the fire as a controlled burn. And Democratic State Representative Josh Elliott officially announced his plans to run for governor. Fellow Democrat Governor Lamont says an announcement on whether he'll seek a third term will likely come in the fall. WTIC News time is 2:32. Bob Cox has the forecast.
Warm and humid this afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. We will see the threat for some thunderstorms, especially in the late afternoon and evening. in western portions of Connecticut, where there could be some heavy downpours of rain that produces localized flooding. However, these storms should weaken considerably as they try to move east across the state. Portions of eastern Connecticut might end up with very little in the way of rain. Tonight, any showers or storms gradually diminish. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 60s and low 70s, and patchy fog forming. And then it becomes mostly sunny Tuesday, hot and humid with a high near 90. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, lows in the low 70s. Mostly sunny, hot and humid Wednesday with highs in the low 90s. Heat index up between 95 and 100. Partly sunny, hot and humid Thursday with the chance for some thunderstorms in the afternoon or evening, high near 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
At Columbia Dental, we love to make kids smile. Our expert pediatric dentists specialize in children's dental care, making every visit fun and comfortable. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Home title theft. It's on the rise, and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document. And then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert, and that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at 4hers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At 4hers.com/radio, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you. These include oral medication kits and compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient that's in Ozempic and Wegovy, but at a much lower price. So you can lose weight for less money than you'd spend on name-brand drugs. Through Hers, pricing for compounded semaglutide starts at just $199 a month for a 12-month plan when paid in full up front. No hidden fees, no membership fees. Plus, the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Reach your weight loss goals with help from Hers. Get started at 4hers.com/radio to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's 4hers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients.
30 seconds.
The expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the
sprinting back here.
Or worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Happy birthday to us. 100 years of serving Connecticut.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. I want to get to Rudy in a second because he's in Florida. I'm sure he's got some commentary on this, but you guys have been blowing up the chat rooms, so I want to get to them. First, let me address Donald in the chat room. Donald, no, we're not relishing on the demise of others with no compassion or empathy. You may have missed the mark if you joined in late. The only point I'm making here is that these politicians, Max Frost and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they don't understand that what they saw in that Florida alligator Alcatraz has been going on at county forever. It's as if they did not understand prison systems. Talking about, in other words, trying to convey to the American people that these conditions are deplorable, knowing that most people, average folks, whether they've been to jail or not, understand that what these guys are getting is if no different, if not better under some circumstances, than people who go to jail every day. It's almost going back to that point where this argument about separating families. Well, if this guy's a wanted criminal in El Salvador and he's got a wife and children in the United States, if he's wanted for murder, you have to separate those families the same way you would a heroin dealer or a drug dealer in the United States who has kids. Many people in the United States sell drugs in the inner city, and Donald, I know you know this. Many kids or people inside the inner city sell drugs to feed their babies because they can't get a regular job. Either they have a felony or they have no discernible skills that would be beneficial in the job market. So many of them go to the lowest hanging fruit of selling drugs to feed themselves, if not their family. And when they get locked up, they get separated from them. So that's what we're pointing out here. And I'm sure you understand that. So it's a bit, I don't know. Maybe it's naivete on your part, or maybe you're just being obtuse for the sake of trying to scream the whole we are not passionate or compassionate about these people's plight. We are. They're just not better than anybody else. Now let's get to Rudy. How you doing, big guy?
Freedom.
Freedom.
That's what Tammy would say. Let me preface this up just to put this all in perspective, because I attacked her, Debbie Wiseman Schultz.
Yeah.
But do you remember Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
When he shot himself in the back? That's what my barracks bathrooms look like.
Yes. Oh, my God. That is a perfect example.
And the bunks in Alligator Alley are the same bunks that I had in the Army.
Yeah, this stuff, these are not newly made. These are not newly manufactured cots or gates or anything like that. These are already used in prison facilities across the country.
They're used in the military.
Yes. That's right.
And here's the deal with military. You have 20 minutes, 30 minutes to eat in boot camp. If you're at the end of the line of 40 guys, you got 5 or 6 minutes.
That's right.
You barely get to eat. You don't get the calories. Here's another thing. Do you know my sheriff, Sheriff Grady Judd? He's been on every news channel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right. So his county prison does the minimum calories that he can get away with federally, which is like 12 to 1,500 a day. No bread, no juice, no milk. Wow. You can't even get peanut butter or ramen noodles off a commissary. Wow. So he he has those big igloo jugs that you see on the sidelines of football games that they dump on the coach.
Oh, yeah.
The trustees come in. I have two dishwashers that go in and out of county down here. They get this like 400 to 500 calorie meal, like one little spring roll, a half a cup of rice, and 4 ounces of chicken. That's their lunch. And then they have to take this little cup up to the trustee and fill it with water. Otherwise, they got to drink out of a sink toilet combination that's in every jail in America and the state of Florida, including Broward County, which is full of New Yorkers and New Englanders. And she knows this.
That's right, Broward County, Broward County, which she's a representative of.
Now remember, I'm from the Midwest, but I spent significant time in New England. The reason Florida hates the Northeast are because of people like her that come from New York down here.
That's right.
She's gaslighting everybody, and I think the federal prison minimum is 2,500 calories a day. And I assure you, because do you know who set up this camp?
Who was I know this is not his name. I'm sorry. It's not DeSantis.
State of Florida, Governor DeSantis.
DeSantis approved it, right?
It was the promise to be reimbursed by Trump and FEMA. They're using FEMA trailers, which you should be scared that FEMA has these buildings that house 80 to 100 people in each.
Yeah.
Why? Why do we have those? And we have the cots available and the cages available. People need to wake up. So DeSantis built this. DeSantis volunteered the AGs and the judges and the National Guard to hold immigration court there.
That's right. Yeah,
and
because
Trump approved it.
Yeah, because apparently you don't need, and it's just 8 weeks of training to get the National Guard JAGs to actually do immigration hearings so that we can adjudicate whether or not they stay or go.
So that being said, do you think DeSantis is going to compromise his future by underfeeding these animals, by putting them in cages, by doing anything illegal, sewage on the floor, no AC?
Exactly.
You can't do anything about bugs. You can't.
Right.
You cannot spray
It's
for
Florida.
mosquitoes. Right.
Right.
They spray mosquitoes in my neighborhood once a week right now. And you could do that, but you can't do it in the Everglades because it's our ecosystem and our water system.
Right.
So you can't do anything about bugs in the Everglades. Tough luck. You know, if I don't spray my lawn once to twice a month, I will get roaches coming in my house.
Wow.
Bugs are just nature in Florida. And I posted to Debbie Weiserman Schultz. You know Lewisburg Prison, the federal prison in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
You can see it on my Twitter feed. I posted how the cot where you lay your head is 6 inches from the toilet and the sink.
Wow.
And I'm like, you've been a congressman and a state rep for 33 years, and you don't even know what your prison systems.
I know.
your
That's the
state-
part that I'm
your
stunned
state
at.
jails, or what the military goes through.
Yeah.
The military goes through just as bad, if not worse.
I thought that, you
and
know
I
what?
talked-
You caught exactly that moment because I completely forgot about that scene at the middle ground of Full Metal Jacket when Private Pyle takes his own life in the bathroom. In fact, you see that bathroom several times before then. Those toilets have no partitions in between them, and they're right next to one another. I mean, I think
And
they
the
stand about a
showers-
good 2-3 feet from each other, and the shower's on the other end.
And the showers look the same.
Yeah. So,
like if you're like, you know, ill-equipped, like I came from Hamden, like Maxwell Frost and my buddy, then everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Yeah. It's insane.
She's a gaslighter. She's lying. And Maxwell Frost is a joke. And I've seen videos, Reese, from people that set up this camp.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's as nice or nicer than any jail.
I've heard.
Federal. Yeah.
I've heard
It's
in fact, it's the quality of this facility is better than the facilities that they had in Texas that they were complaining about. Remember when they said kids in cages? That was really in 2014. This is far better than those.
Here's a better one. You go back a ways. Oh, and by the way, we're building the second one up near Jacksonville in a swamp too. But here's a better one. Do you remember the Cuban airlift at Freedom Town?
Oh, yeah.
Where all they did was fence in under the I-95 bypass, set up tents and pumped in water on trucks.
Yep.
That by Jimmy Carter was a lot worse than what they're experiencing And they're getting Florida hospitality right now. I know they're not getting shrimp and grits.
I've seen homeless encampments that were better than that one back in the 1970s for the Cubans.
Right. There's nothing wrong with alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm sorry we're not doing shrimp and grits and biscuits and gravy and fried green tomatoes.
Yeah.
But you're in jail because you didn't come in the United States legally, and you probably committed a crime. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Maxwell Frost, and all these liberals, they're gaslighting. And honestly, you know I'm not a huge Trump fan anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But if Trump had the cure for cancer, for curing pedophiles, they would attack him for it. We don't want to cure it.
Rudy, I got to
go. It's a
go.
mental illness to be liberal.
It is. I got to go, but thank you, boss man. I appreciate you.
Freedom.
God, freedom. Yeah, I mean, listen, this, I can say this a million times until my head explodes. This isn't about the conditions that are down there. I'm going to get to that in a second. And what you do need to understand is if they thought these conditions were so horrible, they would be screaming and hollering about the regular prison system, as Rudy just said, all across the country. They would be begging for better conditions, food, living quarters, all of that stuff. They would be screaming and hollering for it because that's been going on forever. But the reason why they're doing this for these jailed illegals is because to them, the jailed illegals have value and average citizens in county have none to the Democrat Party. Think about that. Who has more value to the Democrat Party? Who can you use politically under the same living conditions? We know in county they are drinking their water from the toilets, as Debbie Wasserman Schultz says. They are getting bologna sandwiches. They are putting 40, 50, 60 men in a cot with 1 or 2 bathrooms with no partitions or any privacy. They know this is going on. It's verifiably true. But they're not fighting for those people in jail. Where's the conversation about, nonviolent felons being released from jails under those conditions? Or even asking the prison systems to overhaul the entire system? Not a word. Why? Because those folks, and those of you listening to me in county, I'm talking to you. You have no value. Because if they get your freedom, you're not going to show up to vote. If you get your freedom, you will not clean their toilets or fold their laundry or watch their babies. Some of you shouldn't. But you will not be their slaves. When you get out, you're looking for the payday. When those folks get out at Alcatraz, they'll do whatever the Democrats want them to do for pennies on the dollar. That's why they have value. When the Democrats feel like they were freeing the slaves, they ain't freeing them for slavery. They're not freeing them from slavery. They're freeing them for it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll read more comments in the chat room because they are blowing up today on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, it's Matt Soroyce, and I know with the temperatures heating up, sometimes wearing that extra layer of clothing isn't exactly summer friendly, but we may be trying to cover up those pesky extra pounds from the holiday season. Wouldn't it be better to feel comfortable in just a single layer while you're having fun in the sun? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get to whatever goal you have in mind. Maybe you have low energy, joint or muscle pain, and all you want to do is go for a hike or a swim, a few laps, without feeling like you're so winded. Awaken 180 Weight Loss can get you there too. With Awaken's one-on-one coaching from the amazing counselors, they will walk you through every step to get you to your goal weight. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. They have helped over 25,000 people lose the weight and lose the weight for good. Just imagine where you could be by Labor Day if you just give them a call today. So come on, let's make this summer the one where we feel our best. Set up your free consultation today at 844-346-1800 or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
For $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Don't forget, folks, later on in the show, we've got Chris Webby joining us. I've got more movie news coming up at 5 o'clock. Apparently, there's some shenanigans going on with the Superman movie. I got to talk about that because it's funny. And we'll talk about all that and so much more. Also, what Bernie Sanders said on one of the weekend shows, we got that audio for you as well with regards to Zohran Mamdani and the election in New York City and how it is transferring over to Connecticut, as yours truly predicted, with a lot of races now. In fact, we've got some news about Luke Bronin coming up in the headlines. So we'll talk about that as well. Let's get to the phones. Fred in Middletown. What's going on, sir?
Hey, well, just for a segue, I heard Tommy, Mayor Mamdani. If Mark from West Hartford is to be believed, someone else who's pooping with an absolute lack of privacy is the firefighters in West Hartford.
Yeah,
They have a pretty ratty thing going there. What we got here is failure to communicate.
That's right.
Down in Florida. And Monty Python. My family, we were poor. We lived in a hole in the road. And then you say, you had a hole in the road?
Yeah.
Now, my family was poor. And that's it.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
That reminds me of that, also that line in Deadpool, in the first Deadpool movie, when he says that I used to live inside of a box. I didn't get anything for Christmas. All I got was a box. And the girl goes, "You got a box?" I love that. Yeah, look, the bottom line is, and I'm sorry, folks in county or in the prisons who listen to this program, and I know you do. I'm not saying that to shame you in any way, but I'm glad that you listen to the show. But I want you to think about this. For whatever reason, you have to go through what you're going through. If there's ever a point where you could be considered devalued, this is one. And again, I'm not the kind of guy that throws dirt on the game. I don't do that. But I want you to think about this in the grand scheme of things. One of the problems many people say about incarcerated folks is that there is no room for redemption, that there is no rehabilitation inside the prison system. And many inside the prison systems will say it's because the politicians don't care, the activists don't care, and the activists who do care don't care about the ones who can be rehabilitated. They just get their money and they run. I get it. I know. I talk about these people all the time. Charlatans, all of them. But when you hear this interest, and I know some people follow this stuff who are locked up. For whatever reason, they follow this stuff, and they say to themselves every day, it's like, man, what? These people are fighting for these folks. And these guys have done worse crimes than I ever did. These guys have not just come into the country, but the stuff that they're doing, we would never allow in our communities and never have. But these folks, these politicians are on the front line fighting for them. They're fighting against law enforcement, pushing back on them. Some of them showing up with guns. You got other politicians who are making sanctuary cities for them. They won't even allow the police to assist federal agents in finding them and getting them out of the country. They are aiding and abetting activist groups to hide criminal aliens, traffickers, drug person or otherwise. Billions of dollars are being sent across the country to protect these people while you just trying to feed your daughter or your son or keep a roof over your head. The only way you know how, ain't nobody fighting for you. If there's ever a way for you to feel dismissed or ignored, this is it. For you to recognize, damn, even the people who I generally vote for, if I could, those folks ain't even looking out for me. Yeah, it's because you can't perform the way that these people can. You're not going to do their laundry. You're not going to clean their toilets. You're not going to work their crops. You will not be their slave. That's why, until you decide that you're going to be their slave, they'll never care. Let's get to the top of the hour news. John Silva's back. Let's welcome him. He's in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 79 degrees. Good afternoon. We've got a flash flood warning in effect for parts of Hartford County until about 3:30. Otherwise, it's cloudy. That threat for a couple of heavy thunderstorms with temperatures right around where they are, maybe about 82, 83. All the forecast details coming up. The man convicted in the beating death of the mother of his child was sentenced to 65 years behind bars today. Jose Morales, convicted last April in the beating death of Christine Holloway in her Ansonia home nearly 6 years ago. Their daughter, Vanessa, 14 months old at the time, has not been found. Anna Rodonsky, Christine's aunt, addressed the court during sentencing. She said her niece's death has shattered the entire family.
My beautiful, brilliant, kind, caring, spiritual niece was brutally murdered on 12/2/2019. How does one even begin to start to tell how this has affected my life as well as our family and friends?
At trial, Morales denied any role in Holloway's death. He said he was high on drugs when intruders barged into the Myrtle Avenue home in December of 2019 and beat Holloway to death. State police have released the names of the drivers of two vehicles involved in a head-on collision on Sunday. They say 27-year-old Carlos Bauer and 28-year-old Jennifer Leinbach were killed when their vehicles collided Sunday at Cato Corner Road. Both vehicles rolled over. 4 others were injured, including a pregnant woman who was taken by Lifestar to Hartford Hospital. Colchester resident Jay Weinberger says that stretch of roadway is notorious for crashes.
Not at all. It happens all the time. They get hit. It's a big accident scene.
Audio from WFSB. That crash still under investigation. Investigators continue to search for what sparked a fire at an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts last night. At least 9 residents have been killed. Mayor Paul Coogan praised the work of first responders.
A lot of these people needed assistance just getting out of the building, and a 5-star effort got as many people out as we could.
At least 30 people have been injured. Meantime, 2 wildfires burning out of control in northern Arizona. They're near the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
There's 0% containment. On the White Sage, it is now approaching 50,000 acres. Speaking with officials, they say right now they just can't get in front of it, that they're trying to attack it from the sides and try to contain it.
That's correspondent Ian Lee. One fire burned down the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and took other structures with it. Back here, Hamden State Representative Josh Elliott has officially announced his run for governor. He is the first Democrat in the 2026 race, with Governor Lamont yet to announce whether he'll seek a third term. At his campaign launch today, Elliott said he'll work to change the tax code so millionaires are paying more, something Lamont has resisted.
Too much of our policy favors those who already have the most, and too often leaves everyone else behind. Our state workforce, nonprofit employees, and middle-class families are struggling to make ends meet, to buy food, to pay their mortgage, or find affordable housing options.
Elliott, among progressives, disappointed with Lamont's recent veto of an affordable housing bill. He says the governor has failed to do enough to stand up to President Trump. Lamont has welcomed Elliott to the race, saying, quote, "the more, the merrier." And the president is threatening retaliatory measures now if Russia does not end its war against Ukraine.
President Trump announced secondary tariffs on Russia's trading partners if the country does not end its war with Ukraine in 50 days. His frustration growing with President Putin.
I felt that we had a deal about 4 times. And here we are, still talking about it.
He said the tariffs would total 100% while meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. Rutte said European allies will buy U.S. military equipment, including Patriot missile defense batteries, and transfer it to Ukraine.
This whole deal is also about missiles or ammunition.
Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
WTIC News Time approaching 3:05. Checking traffic in East Hartford. Look out, Route 2 westbound between exits 4 and 3. We've got the left lane out there due to a 3-vehicle crash. And way down in Greenwich, 95 north, we're looking at backups between exits 2 and 5 due to a 2-vehicle crash that is blocking the right lane of the turnpike there in Greenwich. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Well, the rest of our Monday afternoon, mainly cloudy, warm, and humid. Couple of heavy thunderstorms around that could produce some flash flooding and localized damaging wind gusts, the high up to 85. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, warm, and humid. The low only down to 72. On Tuesday, mostly sunny, quite warm and humid with the high of 88. Mainly cloudy, warm, and humid Tuesday night, the low only 73. Wednesday, sunny, hot, and humid midweek with the high moving up to 90. Another hot and humid day Thursday, some sun and turning cloudy. There'll be a thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon, the high back to 90. Thursday, still a thunderstorm in spots in the evening, otherwise partly cloudy, very warm and humid, the low only 76. Hotter and humid on Friday with sun, then increasing clouds, couple of afternoon showers and a thunderstorm, the high up to 92. Saturday, partly sunny, less humid, not as hot, the high 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow is up 79 points. NASDAQ's ahead 70. and the S&P is up 11 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Paul's new drone. Its most genius computer scientist.
Yes, sir.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half-geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to
Here we go.
GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Yeah, let's get to some headlines. I heard the top of the hour report about the gubernatorial race, but there's some other news that's now breaking. Luke Bronin, the former two-term mayor of Hartford, is contemplating challenging incumbent U.S. Representative John Larson for the Democrat nomination of the 1st Congressional District in 2026. According to Daily Ructions, they've learned that Bronin, a Navy veteran who served in Afghanistan and a graduate of Yale Law School, told Democrat loyalists at the party's Women's Leadership Annual Lunch that he's thinking about running for Congress. Bronin told Larson, serving his 13th term, of his plans during a Friday meeting. Bronin has been attending party events around the state for months as he contemplated a second bid for governor if Ned Lamont declines to seek a third term. Bronin's eye to challenge Larson in the 27-town district is another sign that Lamont is likely to run again, they say. I don't know. Also, in other political news, Rep. Marie Perez, her middle name escapes me, Glusenkamp. Anyway, Perez is proposing something unprecedented, and I think we're probably going to see more growing support for this. Having Congress's Ethics Office effectively adjudicate whether lawmakers are too cognitively impaired to do their jobs. They're saying that they want to test people's cognitive decline to find out if they should stick around. An ethics review to find out if they're old enough to stay because they don't want to be caught flat-footed like they did with the Biden administration. And, of course, a reason to get rid of some older Democrats. This Marie Perez is only 33 years old, so you can imagine what her motivation is. They want younger, fresher voices. Rhode Island's Governor Dan McKee on Friday had a meeting and a tour at the Amica Mutual Pavilion Arena to discuss the possibility of relocating the WNBA's Connecticut Sun team to Providence. Target 12 News has learned that Governor McKee's office did not immediately comment, but they say that there was a tour that did take place, and they are thinking about getting the Connecticut Sun to go to Providence, Rhode Island. The AMP Arena seats 14,000 folks, while the Mohegan Sun only holds 10,000. And this would also contradict reports that the Connecticut Sun were looking to go to the TD Garden in Boston to possibly play there. I don't know if it's crazy for them to go to Providence, Rhode Island. I don't even know if they have an audience in Providence, but it's quite likely there's let's just say, a bigger bid to get this team out of Connecticut. And I don't think Connecticut is fighting hard enough to keep them here. But, I could be wrong. They could stay. Who knows? Just a month into the 2-year effort to crack down on unregistered, improperly registered cars located in Connecticut, the firm that was hired for the job has preliminarily identified 5,000 out-of-state vehicles, these alone in Bridgeport. A guess could be 1/4 of 1/3 of them will be eligible to be taxed due to those car owners actually residing in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That came from the Ken Flatto, who's a finance director for the Mayor Joe Ganim administration. They are trying to get people who reside in Bridgeport and have cars registered out of state to get them registered in Connecticut. So, of course, they can meet tax guidelines and, of course, they can tax them. But them being out of the state, Bridgeport isn't getting their money. So 5,000 cars have been cracked down on. This could grow larger. It depends. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Also, this is a story that I heard about and I didn't report because it was just rumor and innuendo. So let me go back a little bit. A report came out weeks ago that the shooter in the politically motivated assassination of the Minnesota lawmaker and her husband, that the shooter allegedly said that he was acting at the behest of Governor Tim Walz. That wasn't confirmed nor corroborated by any other news outlet, so I didn't report on it until now. The man accused of politically motivated assassination of the Minnesota lawmaker and her husband insisted to the New York Post this week that the motive to kill those individuals had nothing to do with President Trump or his stance on abortion. He's pro-life. But stopped short of saying what allegedly drove him to kill. Quote, "You are fishing and I can't talk about my case. I'll say it didn't involve either the Trump stuff or pro-life." That's what Vance Bowler wrote this week from a cell inside the Sherburne County Jail in Elk River, about 30 miles northwest of Minneapolis. He says, quote, "I am pro-life personally, but it wasn't those." He said, "I will just say that a lot of information will come out in the future that people will look and judge for themselves. This goes back 24 months before the 14th. If Governor Tim Walz will ever let it get out," his own words. If Governor Tim Walz ever lets it get out. And I had one more thing here, a news item I wanted to get to, so forgive me. Oh, yes, here it is. No, that is not it. I apologize. I moved it somewhere, and now it's gone. No, here it is. I knew it was here. Oh, that's what it was. At a January 19th meeting, according to the New York Times, which took place at the Yellow Oval Room of the White House residence, President Joe Biden kept his aides until nearly 10 p.m. to talk through such decisions, according to people familiar with the matter. The emails showed that an aide to Mr. Siskel sent a draft summary of Biden's decisions at that meeting to an assistant to Mr. Zients, copying Mr. Siskel. At about 10:03 p.m., the assistant forwarded it to Mr. Reed and Mr. Zients, asking for their approval, and then sent a final version to Ms. Feldman, copying many meeting participants and aides at 10:28 p.m. What am I talking about? Well, let's break this down. We're talking about 10:28 p.m. several staffers and people close to former President Joe Biden were back and forth sending emails about pardons going to the January 6th committee. At 10:03 to 10:28, the last line of this is the piece de résistance. After 10:28. 3 minutes later, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the auto pen for the execution of all the following pardons. Mr. Zients said in an email 3 minutes after 10:28. That would put it at 11:31 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it to you. Where's Joe Biden at 11:31 on any given day? Anybody? 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 Bueller? If your answer was sleeping, you're 100% right. According to the New York Times, what they're suggesting here is that Joe Biden had nothing to do with the signing of pardons for the January 6th committee. This includes Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and what's the other one's name? Oh, Adam Schiff, Johnson, a whole slew of folks. You know that Joe Biden, his days were from 10 to 4. That man was out of the Oval Office before the evening news. That's all you need to know. So those are your headlines. I don't even know what to say about that, but I'm expecting more to come in the next coming days. We'll get into that. Also, we got to talk about Jeffrey Epstein today because, I don't know, many people are very interested in that story. Let's get back to the phones. Christine is in Middletown. How are you?
Hi, Reese. I hope this isn't off topic, but a new development came through kind of related to the Project Veritas story. I don't know if you caught it, Reese, but the Meriden Record Journal and their writer is Chris Villalonga Vivoni, who is uses they them pronouns, wrote a story on 2 trans teens in Connecticut, Reese.
Hold on. I can't. Wait a minute. You sound like you're underwater. Hold on for a second. Say that one more time. Who wrote the article?
The Meriden Record Journal, Reese.
Okay.
Had an article.
Yes. Christine,
the Meriden Record Journal.
Sorry, there you go. There you go. Go ahead.
The Meriden Record Journal had an article about 2 trans teens, and it's the only article about trans teens since the Project Veritas story broke. And it's about the writer's name is Chris Villalonga Vivoni, who uses they them pronouns.
Yep. You know what, Christine? Do me a favor. I don't know why it is, but it's probably because you're driving. But every time you get to a key point of what you're telling me, it completely goes garbled. Do me a favor. Just send it to me via Facebook. I promise I will read it. I'll get you when you get stationary to call up because it's not coming over for some reason. But send it to me via Facebook so I can grab it, and then I promise you I'll call you back.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Let's go to Tom in Thomaston. How are you, Tom?
Hey, Reese.
What's
I'm
up?
in the middle of a huge rainstorm. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're great. You're great.
Okay. Hey, I wanted to say something about Dami. Do you ever watch John Stossel's stuff?
I love his show. Yeah, I love his stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. Did you see, they replayed it and they had a little more information about that Swedish guy that used to be in government and talked about the Sweden government.
Yes, the recent one. In fact, it's so funny you bring that up, Tom. I just sent that piece to my stepson, Ellis, because he was talking about how Sweden is a socialist country. And I was showing him the John Stossel report about that guy who, I guess he was one of the thought leaders in talking about that it's categorically untrue that Sweden operates as a socialist country.
Right, because they found out they almost bankrupted themselves in the 70s.
Right.
Now, everything is privatized. The hospitals, the schools, a lot of government service, it's all privatized. It's making money. Yes, they still have a lot of social services,
right?
But now they can afford to pay for them because everything is privatized. So next time a liberal guy comes up, tell him to watch that thing. It's only like 5-7 minutes long, but it's so fascinating.
And what's great about that is that in that piece, John Stossel references the documentary of the Swedish professor. And said, because he said he did the professor does a whole documentary about dispelling this myth that they are a socialist country. He admits that they used to be, but it failed so badly that they had to go back. Another thing, Tom, I want to make sure I've referenced this. So Mondami has also been talking about this idea to the government seizure of housing within the state of New York, and within the city of New York, I should say. And he talks about I think it was a German model. I may be wrong on what country it is, but he talks about a German model. Well, I went and found the documentary about that government-run housing area. And it starts off by saying when they started the project, 80% of the housing was run by the government. By the time it was over, the experiment was over, only 30% was left. They had to privatize the other 70. Because
what the socialists fail to say, every dollar that goes in to the government, 70-80% goes to government employees, and only 30-20 goes to the people, where when it's privatized, a hell of a lot more goes to the people.
That's right.
The people that own it and are privatized want to keep the customers happy and want to keep in business.
That's right. And again, they do understand it. Remember, there's an incentive to grow privately. There's never one in the government. You know, they have to force a pay hike in government where, you know, in private industry, your promotion or your bump in wages depends on how well or how poorly the company's doing. So if the company's doing poorly or the company's doing well, you're incentivized to do better, to give customer service, to give better products, and all of those things, so that, again, you can either get a promotion or get better pay. I know these bozos understand it, but they hate that model, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a big con.
Yeah.
Capitalism is not perfect, but it's the best system ever devised.
Lifted more people out of poverty than socialism did. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. The only thing socialism ever got anybody was death. Jim is in Wellington. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. You can ask candidate Mondami there how many rental properties the city of New York owns.
Yeah, exactly.
And then ask him what have they been doing about it. They've had him for I don't know how long before the immigrant crisis, and while people can't afford to get a rent in New York City. That's the first thing. And then there's another 25,000 that are owned by private owners, and they can't afford to fix anything because there's no benefit, because the rents would be too high. So those sit empty as well. So we're looking at what, close to 50 or 52,000 places to live.
What do you?
And then the other thing. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to say, Jim, what do you make of this Elliott push for governor? Because this guy, I know that Elliott is seeing the motivation or the momentum of a Mamdani, and now he's making his move. Am I wrong in assuming that?
Listen, I don't know enough about it, but only to say this, and I don't mean this in a bad way for anybody that lives in the city of New York. But you know what? You're going to get exactly what you vote for.
Yeah.
And this may be, and I don't think he's going to get elected, quite frankly, but this may be the last dying breath of how a government can absolutely screw up not only the country, because of what we just found out with Biden, but how a government can absolutely screw everything completely up to the point where it's just not workable.
I will say this. This right now will be a testament. In fact, I was reading an article today that I'm going to reference in the next half hour out of USA Today, which says that what Mondami's election in November means for all progressives if he wins or loses. I got to talk about that because, again, you make a good point. People are poo-pooing Mamdani's nomination as if to say, it's not really likely. However, and you don't think that he's going to make it. But I got to be honest with you, I really think he's got a shot. I'll explain that in a little bit. I really do. I really do.
Can I throw something at you?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't believe there's a large section of progressive lunatic Democrats. I don't believe they want him to win, specifically because they saw what happened when Biden got in and then bent over backwards to accommodate to progressive policies. And you can pick any subject you want.
Yeah.
I think the last thing they need is to have him get into New York.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Average Democrats want nothing to do with him. I'm going to read this article where what the New Yorker tries to throw a Republican under the bus, saying that he's the guy who's making the efforts.
Yeah, but I don't mean. Maybe I misspoke. I don't mean average Republicans. I'm talking about progressive. Excuse me.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I know exactly who you mean. But I got to take a break. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you, buddy. Listen, folks, we'll come back to this. I got more info on this story about Mamdani and Bernie Sanders, who's now put his foot into this race to support Mamdani, and what the USA Today article says about AOC, Mamdani's election, and how the two were tied in to the presidential election of 2028. Stick around. We got more news, more views, and, of course, your phone calls. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text ROCKY to 369369. That's ROCKY to 369369. ROCKY to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Escape to casual luxury at Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, the perfect island-inspired getaway in the heart of Hyannis, Massachusetts. Families will love making waves at Fins Up Water Park, while couples can slow down at the Saint Somewhere Spa, pure tropical bliss. And when the sun goes down, savor coastal flavors and ice-cold drinks at Landshark Bar and Grill. Whether you're chasing thrills or chill, your slice of paradise is waiting. Book your escape today at MargaritavilleResortCapeCod.com.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, 79 degrees, cloudy skies in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A flash flood warning is about to expire in the Hartford area, but some spots can still see heavy rain showers this afternoon, and that could lead to flooding this afternoon. Not everyone will get a heavy shower, but the threat is there. The forecast details are coming up. 65 years behind bars for the man convicted of killing his mother, the mother of his still missing daughter. Jose Morales learned his fate in Milford Superior Court today. He was convicted last spring for the murder of Christine Holloway in December of 2019. The couple's daughter, Vanessa, disappeared and has not been found. State police have released the names of the drivers of two vehicles involved in a collision on Sunday. They say 27-year-old Carlos Bauer and 28-year-old Jennifer Leinbach were killed when their vehicles, along with a third, collided on Cato Corner Road. 4 others were injured, including a pregnant woman who was taken by Lifestar to an area hospital. With heat and humidity forecasted to stick around for most of this week, Governor Lamont is activating the state's extreme hot weather protocol. That takes effect on Tuesday, tomorrow at noon, and runs through Friday at 8 p.m. That means cooling centers will be open and state agencies will partner with United Way 211 to ensure the most vulnerable to the heat receive the services they need. A tragedy in Fall River, Massachusetts, where 9 people have died, dozens of others injured at a fire at an assisted living facility. Firefighters responded to Gabriel House. They were met with heavy smoke and some hanging out of windows screaming for help. And a man who Berlin police say was found passed out behind the wheel of his running vehicle Friday night's now facing a host of charges. Officers say Christopher Chris likely overdosed when he was awakened. Police say he backed the car into one police cruiser, struck another before fleeing. They later found him in a gas station parking lot in New Britain where he damaged a couple of other police cars. 2 officers there sustained minor injuries. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mainly cloudy, warm and humid. Couple of heavy thunderstorms that could produce some flash flooding and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 85. Then tonight, a thunderstorm in spots this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, warm and humid. The low only down to 72. Mostly sunny, quite warm and humid Tuesday with the high up to 88. Then Wednesday, sunny, hot and humid midweek with the high moving up to 90. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It looks like that flash flood warning for the Hartford area has now been extended until 6 this evening. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
If you have an unpaid debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-506-6012. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-506-6012. 800-506-6012. That's 800-506-6012.
Erectile dysfunction affects nearly 50% of men over age 50. But even with so many men affected, finding a trusted provider to treat the condition isn't so simple. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice, and I'm excited to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health in Warwick, Rhode Island. As a Promenic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health can offer men with ED the latest treatment protocols, which are shown in medical studies to be effective in well over 90% of men. And unlike groups that only offer wave therapy or online pharmacies that just sell pills, we offer a variety of treatments to help get you the results you want. You should also know that Northeast Men's Health is a true medical practice, which means our providers have access to a complete range of treatment options to get you back on track. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/radio, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you. These include oral medication kits and compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient that's in Ozempic and Wegovy, but at a much lower price. So you can lose weight for less money than you'd spend on name-brand drugs. Through Hers, pricing for compounded semaglutide starts at just $199 a month for a 12-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. Plus, the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Reach your weight loss goals with help from Hers. Get started at forhers.com/radio to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/radio. forhers.com/radio.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got drain in your bathroom, water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Ew. Or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Hey, whoa, hold up. 100 candles on the cake? Who do you think's lighting this?
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Can I explain to liberals and conservatives or anyone in between the definition of derangement syndrome when it comes to Trump? I'd like to read a statement. And it's important to get what that derangement is by first prefacing it all with this statement. Everyone in this country, especially the President of the United States, has a right to not only free speech, but free thought. In essence, what he believes or what he thinks or what he says, he has the freedom to express it. He is the leader of the free world. And when he is speaking, in asking a question or in an interview, speaking off the cuff, and expresses to you what he thinks about said topic, it doesn't mean that because he said it by the wave of his hand, by just expressing an opinion, it then becomes fact. It's no, you are getting an inside view to someone who is very candid. And by simply saying something, that should be acceptable. But what people on the left and those with derangement syndrome want you to understand is this, is that your thoughts and your speech must be monitored. And if you say something that is to be disapproved of, you must be shunned, ostracized, if not, shut up for it. Now, I want you to take that into consideration when I read this statement in my chat room by Bob. The country didn't deserve for the Democrats to lose. We now have a president recently focused on revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. Focused? He didn't focus on it. He simply said that she should lose it. And changing the name of soccer in the U.S. to football, the name that they call it around the world. He expressed an opinion. In the meantime, we have a disaster in Texas, And this guy is ranting and raving about obliterating Iran's nuclear capability, which Evaporate did not do. Well, what happened? Have you visited Iran recently? Whatever. Okay. Trump is a lying egomaniac. His disrespect for the president of Libya is a classic example of his lack of presidential stature and disdain for anything black. That is derangement, folks. That is what derangement looks like. He's angry at anything black. There's nothing even reasonable in that statement. Calm down. Calm down. Here's the problem, and this is the part about the derangement that they'll never get. What's the real derangement? That what they believe and what they think matters in the grand scheme. What they think is oh so important in their opposition to Donald Trump. They think they're talking to him. They think when they're shouting out on the talk shows and sending their chat rooms on their emails, they think Donald Trump is going to see how much they detest him. They write as if Donald Trump is sitting in the Oval Office waiting for their correspondence. That's the derangement. Let me express this to you. And I'm saying this understanding my role in all of this. No one cares what you think, nor do they really care what I do. They don't. Those who do care, they know what they're here for. It's for me to break down the events of the day, to talk about what's really going on, to convey that message to them. I understand my role here. I'm not deranged in my importance and my role. You, on the other hand, suggesting that you know what's on his mind or what's in his heart is indeed deranged. He doesn't care about anything black, nor do I, nor does anybody. Nobody cares about anything black. What does that mean? That's not even a coherent sentence. What is anything black? And for the record, just because you're here, can you explain to me, what does it mean to be black? How does it define? What's the black thing? How does one act black or be black? Are there stereotypical things that we must do? Outside of chicken and watermelon, is there something else that I'm missing? Is there hog moss and cornbread involved? Must I know how to rap and shoot a basketball? Should I be able to dance a jig better than my white counterparts? Exactly what is it? Must I speak broken English or speak Ebonics? What's the black thing? If you could describe that in 100 words or less, we'd appreciate it, because some of us didn't get the download. Clowns, I tell you. Back to Mamdani, who also, by the way, and congratulations to him, in applying to Columbia University, said he was black and or African American. It's so funny, right? Being black is supposed to be the worst thing you could be in the country. It's the worst thing, but yet everybody's lying to be black. Sean Luther King, the guy who started Black Lives Matter, white guy, pretends to be black. Rachel Dolezal pretends to be black, becomes the president of the NAACP. It's the worst race that you could be anywhere in the world, but everybody wants to be it. Hell, you got white folks getting tanned. As I always say, everybody wants to be black until the cops are called. My police friends, don't get mad. That's just a joke. It's just a joke. Just saying. According to USA Today's opinion piece written by Dace Potus, weirdly enough, Mamdani's rise in New York City could open the door for an AOC presidential run, according to this article. As the Democrats continue to soul search in the wake of President Donald Trump's recapture of the White House, certain members on the left view this as an opportunity to appropriate the party for their own means. Democrats are still searching for the path forward, and a socialist rebellion within the party could be it. We'll know if that's the case from the 2026 midterm elections, but the socialist left have its first test this fall. New York Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani's fate in November's New York City mayoral race could be a forecast for the fate of the far-left candidates in the 2026 and 2028 federal elections. Success by Mamdani, a Democrat socialist, could then lead the presidential campaign of New York Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. His failure could end her run before it starts. Democrats will decide that in November. Now, they go on to talk about how Trump and his populist movement has been disruptive. And even if the party establishment against him at the beginning, the very same might happen to Democrats as socialists and liberals work to respond to the MAGA takeover. A 2022 Pew Research Center survey found that young adults actually slightly favor socialism over capitalism, and that 42% of young Democrats had favorable views of Democratic socialist political leaders. As this group ages further into the electorate, the socialists already established see an opportunity to increase their presence, and those losing to break into positions of power are taking advantage of it. And it's happening everywhere. As you can see, Josh Elliott in Connecticut. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, he's putting a warning out to the oligarchs on the Democrat side. He's out there telling them that Mamdani is going to face a lot of money by the millionaires and billionaires.
He's going to have the entire establishment, the oligarchy, the billionaires coming down on his head. Not only because he's demanding that the wealthy and large corporations in New York City start paying their fair share of taxes, they are worried that his campaign is an example of what can happen all over the country when you bring people together to demand the government that works for all of us and not just the few. So they really want to crush this guy. And you have billionaires saying quite openly, we are going to spend as much as it takes to defeat this guy. You have
$20 million.
Democratic leadership not refusing to jump on board a campaign where this guy is the Democratic nominee. So most importantly, I'm going to do everything I can to see that Zohran becomes the next mayor of New York. And
he wants him to be the next mayor of New York, and he wants it to go further. It's where we are. It's where we are. The New York Magazine, I should say. Inside the well-funded, likely doomed plan to stop Mamdani, someone has to fold. Because they're going to split the vote. Eric Adams has only got 11%, the incumbent. Andrew Cuomo is 25%. He's polling better than the incumbent. And Curtis Sliwa, sure, he got 300,000 votes, and that's considerable. It's nothing to shake your finger at in New York. But with the Democrat Party split between Adams and Cuomo, Mamdani's a surefire winner, without a doubt. This guy's going to take the whole race. And Democrats are going to tout him everywhere. He would be a national leader of the party. He could very well be, I don't know, I would say sub-leader. I mean, after that, the kingmaker, Ocasio-Cortez, she'd ride her way right into the White House. She'd ride her way right into the White House. Take out Schumer real quick, kneecap him, and then just run for it all. Could it be AOC versus J.D. Vance? I see it. Oh, would I love that? God, I would love that. Oh, I would love that. I'm sorry, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. Boy, would I love that. Talk about a presidential election that I would want to see. I would be so excited for that. God, I would love to see it. But this New York article, New York Magazine article, is pretty much going after the head of Gristedes. If you're familiar in New York, if you're not, it's a supermarket.
Gotta roll.
It's a high-end supermarket. Oh, we got to take a break. Oh, God, I forgot about that. We thought we were in the other hour. Anyway, when we come back, we got Chris Webby coming up. We got to take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. Stick around. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
What we love about our ability to help patients at QC Kinetics is seeing their pure delight at finally being able to do the things they enjoy without pain.
I had a patient start treatment with me. He wanted to be able to be active again and do some of his sports that he really enjoyed.
Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics, treats patients with chronic joint pain using their body's own biologics. The goal? Get them back to living their best lives without surgery or harmful drugs.
He came back and he goes, what I wasn't expecting was the ability to play on the floor with my grandchildren. Even just saying it now, I have goosebumps because it's changing those small moments that you take for granted.
Don't let joint pain rob you of those moments. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It just warms my heart to be able to help people live the life they want to live and get those small moments back.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Life insurance. Why can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Now, I have not told Chris Webby that I'm going to keep him here for a little while. Right, we're going to talk to him at 4 o'clock, but I did not tell him that we're going to keep him for a little while. I'll tell him when he gets here, because I had to. Because there's so much stuff about this that he doesn't know that I shared. I shared some of it with him, but not everything. And if you're sitting at your desk at home or at your office or whatever the case may be, I want you to look up Candlewood Lake in 2017. Here are the keywords you will need to pay attention to: carp, dequite. 2017, Candlewood Lake in Connecticut. Now, according to reports, Candlewood Lake, and those of you who do know, if I'm incorrect, please get on the phone, 860-522-WTIC. In the next hour, at about 5 o'clock, I want you to call up and let me know. But from what I heard, Candlewood Lake is the largest body mass of water in Connecticut. And I'll get the schematics on this water. But in 2017, DQuat was a bone of contention in the region surrounding Candlewood Lake. And their compromise was made after a public hearing. What I found interesting is that no one, and I mean no one in the media, has gone back to that story. It's only 2017, folks. And there was a compromise made. DQuat was sprayed. But in that story, and it's amazing, in that story, carp was used. And I'm going to tell Chris Webby about it, and I'm going to tell you if you haven't heard about it for the first time. So stick around for that. We'll get into that. Of course, we'll talk about Chris Webby and the attacks on him by the news media. We've got that tenfold because everybody under the sun is trying to go after him on that one. All right, so stick around for that. Don't go anywhere. He'll be back. And you don't want to miss this because there's so much stuff. Just so much dirt. Just so much dirty deeds, man. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. And I just love being the person who gets to report it. And my wife, who's angry, is like, we're not even writing about it. I don't care. I'm not here for the accolades. I don't need anybody writing about me. I don't know, due to the efforts of Reese on the Radio. Nope, not here for that. My bosses are not probably happy about that. But again, I don't care. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got news. We got weather. We got traffic. We got John Silva. We got Jason Caterina. And, of course, Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. If you're 84 eastbound coming into Hartford, delays 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing Bulkley Bridge at 47. Southbound 91, look for slow traffic in Windsor from 38 down to 36 again. 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. More slow traffic as you move down by exit between 21 and 20 Middletown into, I should say Cromwell into Middletown. Northbound side of 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 westbound's a little tight by 4A in East Hartford. 9 northbound slowing 22 to the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound Waterbury, some tight traffic from 17 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 is running slow. 27 and the 691 interchange in Cheshire all the way up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury is slowing from 8 out to exit 14 in Southbury on the eastbound side of 84. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mainly cloudy, humid, couple of heavy thunderstorms. They could produce flash flooding and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 85. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, warm and humid, the low only down to 72. Then as we head through Tuesday, mostly sunny, quite warm and humid, the high up to 88. Wednesday, sunny, hot and humid, the high moving up to 90 midweek. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man who killed the mother of his young daughter will spend the next 65 years in prison. A judge today sentenced Jose Morales for the beating death of Christine Holloway. She was found in her Ansonia home in December of 2019. Their daughter, Vanessa, 14 months old at the time, has never been found. At sentencing, Holloway's aunt, Anna Rodonsky, became emotional in describing her niece.
She loved children. She loved her job and taking care of so many adorable children at the daycare where she was employed. She was passionate and full of love.
Morales maintained during trial that he was high on drugs when, or at the time,
thank you, Lori,
forced their way into the Myrtle Avenue home, beating Holloway to death and leaving her in a bathtub. And Ansonia police continue to investigate Vanessa's disappearance and urge anyone with any information to give them a call. State police have released the names of 2 people killed in a multi-vehicle crash near Cato Corner Road in Colchester Sunday. More from WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
The crash around 4 in the afternoon involved 3 vehicles, 2 of which rolled over and trapped the people inside. 27-year-old Carlos Bauer of Colchester and 28-year-old Jennifer Lanebach of Norwich lost their lives. A pregnant woman who was in the SUV with Lanebach was seriously injured and had to be airlifted over to Hartford Hospital. A passenger in the vehicle that Bauer was driving also suffered serious injuries, according to state police. The road was closed for hours into the night for investigation. There's no word on why the crash happened. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Citing key differences with fellow Democrat Ned Lamont, Hampton State Representative Josh Elliott says he is running for the party's nomination for governor in 2026. He says, unlike Lamont, he won't be reluctant to raise taxes on millionaires.
And as long as our tax structure punishes those who work and rewards those who accumulate, we will not build the future that we deserve. If we can't ask hard questions in our own party, how can we expect to earn the trust of the people that we serve?
Elliott and other progressives have criticized the governor's recent veto of an affordable housing bill. State Senator Dr. Saud Anwar is endorsing Elliott, saying Lamont is, quote, incapable of addressing the moment when it comes to severe budget cuts by the Trump administration. Lamont has yet to announce whether he'll run for a third term, but says he welcomes the competition. President Trump threatening to double tariffs on Russia's trading partners if it doesn't agree to a ceasefire in its war with Ukraine within 50 days.
I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there.
Meantime, threats of 50% tariffs on goods from Brazil could hit consumers in the pocketbook here.
Experts say if the tariffs go through and prices for coffee for wholesalers increase, it'll trickle down at your local coffee shop to 25 cents a cup within 3 months. Ryan Cummings with the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research says U.S. suppliers may look elsewhere for coffee beans.
The U.S. imports roughly 35% of its coffee beans from Brazil, but then if those costs increase by 50% and you're at the point where you're renegotiating the contract, you might say, well, that's going to get really expensive, so I might have to source more from Vietnam. But if everybody else is doing that, everybody else is now competing kind of to buy those Vietnamese coffee beans.
Matt Piper, CBS News.
Man accused of killing 2 women and wounding 2 men at a small Kentucky church and wounding a state trooper in separate shootings had been expected in court today on the domestic violence charge.
47-year-old Guy House was fatally shot by police Sunday at Richmond Road Baptist Church in Lexington, Kentucky. Police tracked his stolen car at the church. Kentucky State Police Sergeant Matt Sudduth.
At least 3 Lexington Police Department officers discharged their agency-issued firearms, striking Mr. House and resulting in fatal injuries.
The 2 men shot at the church are both hospitalized in critical condition. The state trooper who was shot is in stable condition. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Wall Street, the Dow up 88 points. NASDAQ is up 54. S&P up 8 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, folks, we got Chris Webby coming up in a couple of minutes. We have so much stuff to break down to him. He's online now, so we'll grab him immediately after we get some weather and traffic updates on the 8s, as we always do here. We'll talk to him about the backlash, about him sending out the warning signs, him being Paul Revere, letting us know about Dequat. We wouldn't be here, folks, without Chris Webby putting that online and putting that on X, and, of course, that being shared to this show and everybody else who's been talking about it. We got the news media talking about it to the point where they are embarrassing themselves to protect the use of Dequat. We'll talk to Chris Webby about all of that. I just looked on the change.org website. I don't even know if he's noticed this. So, of course, his Stop the Dequat Chemical Poisoning of Connecticut Waterways is now up to 19,000 signatures. But it gets better than that. If you scroll down, if you go to change.org and you just type in Dequat, it turns out that there are other places across the country that are also protesting the use of Dequat where they are. In particular, as I'm looking at this, one of them is, this one says, let me get to it here. Yes, end toxic pesticides used on public lands and fulfill agreements, San Mateo County, California, talking about the use of herbicides and Dequat in their public waters. So it's everywhere. And as I found out, as I looked further and further into this, it turns out that Dequat was an issue in Connecticut in 2017. And what happened there is going to blow your mind. If you haven't read about it yet, you should look it up. Candlewood Lake, Connecticut, 2017, Dequat and carp. We'll talk about that and all that and more with Chris Webby when we get back. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, southbound 91, look for delays as you move from exit 34 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. Another bump down by exit 28. If you're traveling northbound 91, that looks good. Cromwell up through downtown, up into Windsor. Westbound 84, a little slow. Bulkley Bridge 84 eastbound moving very well. Farmington out into Vernon. 291 through 84, no issues there. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing. Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, 9 northbound tight. 32 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury, you got tight traffic approaching 18 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 is running slow, approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury, delays 8 out to exit 15 in Southbury. Southbound 95 New Haven slowing from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Oh, we got a flood watch in effect in addition to a flash flood warning around Hartford right now, in addition to a couple of other counties. Some more heavy thunderstorms moving along like what we call a boxcar, that's why we call it training. So they're moving over the same areas repeatedly like they're on a train track. And that's between Danbury and Milford and heading toward Waterbury. Some very heavy rain and packing a whole lot of lightning with those storms as well. So I do expect some slowdowns as you make your way in that direction with that heavy rain going on. Likely to see some flooding in spots as well continuing. So do be aware that if you do encounter any flooded out areas, make sure you turn around, find yourself an alternate route. Do not try and cross flooded out areas, as most flooding deaths occur in vehicles. So very dangerous situation for us as we head through the rest of the evening in spots. So thunderstorms moving through, partly cloudy, humid, the low down to 72. Mostly sunny, quite warm and humid on Tuesday with the high of 88. Wednesday, sunny, hot and humid, the high 90. Another hot and humid day Thursday with a thunderstorm in spots, the high again of 90. So again, just watch out for some very heavy rainfall between New Milford and Danbury, heading toward Waterbury right now. And flash flood warning around Hartford as well. Right now, it's 82 in Danbury and Bridgeport, 80 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Matt Soroyce. If you're feeling sluggish or maybe you have muscle or joint pain because you have extra weight you're carrying around, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you. Give them a call today to make this summer the one where we feel our best. 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's summertime. If you're between the ages of 17 and 25, now's the time to check your wisdom teeth. Impacted wisdom teeth can cause a lot of unnecessary pain, so let Columbia Dental remove them sooner than later. Call 860-645-0111.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, if you're looking for a reliable car that won't break the bank, Mitchell Auto Group has Mitchell Select, an exclusive lineup of affordable pre-owned vehicles, each car carefully inspected with a 150-point check and comes with a 12-month warranty so you can drive with confidence. Sedans, SUVs, whatever it is, Mitchell Select has options for everybody. Go to MitchellAutoGroup.com, browse the inventory today. Mitchell Auto Group, delivering quality and value, and always, people, drive safely.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at 4hers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At 4hers.com/radio, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you. These include oral medication kits and compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient that's in Ozempic and Wegovy, but at a much lower price. So you can lose weight for less money than you'd spend on name-brand drugs. Through Hers, pricing for compounded semaglutide starts at just $199 a month for a 12-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. Plus, the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Reach your weight loss goals with help from Hers. Get started at 4hers.com/radio to access affordable, trusted weight loss plans. That's 4hers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back. It's Reese on the Radio, hanging out with Chris Webby.
Hey.
How you doing, Bob? How are you, sir?
I'm good. Just got back from some shows. I was out west and, just getting my bearings over here and a lot more traveling this month. But I've been very tuned in and staying on top of this dicot issue across the board. I've had people sending me all the pictures of all the places they're spraying, and we're keeping it all documented. We got eyes out on everything, as best we can, at least. So
I sent out to you a correspondence that you didn't know about what had happened, but you were just as surprised as I was, and that was that the administrator of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, had pretty much said, hey, we know nothing about this at the EPA, that they're going to be spreading this herbicide in the Connecticut River, and they will be looking into it. And so, which, again, I know that the reason why you brought this up was because you felt in your heart that there was something underhanded going on. Like you were being the town crier for good reason. You thought that, look, you don't know what shady operation was going on with the powers that be were allowing this to happen, but you knew that it was going on behind the backs of Connecticut residents, your family, your friends, your neighbors. And you were bringing up, what's it like to then be the target of the news media saying that you were spreading mis and disinformation, which, by the way, they never, ever pinpoint what you did that was considered mis or disinformation.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just kind of funny to me. Like, I'm a hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
So I've been in the game 16 years. People have said all sorts of mean things to me for a very long time. I have quite thick skin. And when it comes to misinformation and conspiracy theorists, I mean, after everything we've seen, especially these past 5 years, that's almost like that's a joke to me. So I think these people that they're sending after me are not well equipped to deal with someone quite like myself. I have a sense of humor about myself, and if they want to get nasty, I can get a little nasty too. I'm a rapper, like I said, But again, this is not about me. This isn't about me. And when it comes to misinformation, it's just like I am very firm on the facts. And there are some, and I'll repeat them right now because I feel like it is important. And I have even some add-ons to the facts. So number one is that dicot is toxic to humans and wildlife alike. And the more that I've learned about it, Reese, it's actually an estimated 200 times more toxic than glyphosate.
That's correct.
So that is a reference point. I didn't know the 200 times more than glyphosate at first. And now it's like, wow, that puts it even into more perspective.
Right.
Fact number two, dicot is banned in Europe and the UK, and we knew this. But I also learned something new, too. And I don't know if you knew this one, but it's also banned in China.
Yep.
And China's the one who makes it.
That's correct. They bought the company that makes it, and they bought it for billions of dollars, right? They purchase it for billions of dollars. They don't allow it to be made in China. They allow it to be made in the UK, of course, where it's banned, and they sell it everywhere else in the world, well, primarily to Brazil. And believe it or not, one of the only places that continues to buy it as far as the Western countries is the United States of America, primarily the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Very interesting stuff, Reese. Very interesting stuff. Seems like the state of Connecticut's been a big fan of this chemical here. And, to your point before about people not really knowing about it, obviously that was the public consensus, but we're finding out that people even like high up in Connecticut politics didn't know about it.
No.
And it seems like a large faction of people that you would think should be aware of these things didn't even know about it. So this is deeper than just citizens not knowing. And of course they'll say, well, we held a couple town halls, just so they could say that they did actually say something, but obviously that's a joke. And they had this window between my initial post and the spring where there was this large public outcry, and they had an opportunity to, kind of grab a hold of the narrative a little bit and try to explain themselves, because this is about hydrilla, so they say, which, fact number 3, there are other ways to treat hydrilla.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
they're
get
a little
to that.
more, they might be more expensive and take more time, but isn't that these people's job? Isn't it Keith Hannon's job as the leader of this project to figure out the best way to do it that people would want? So, but, it's shocking that they didn't take a moment and realize, wow, people are really upset about this. It's become national news. Connecticut's in the spotlight. Obviously this is happening everywhere, but Connecticut is ground zero for this story, and they did not take that time. They put out a couple articles, tried to discredit me, like you said, say misinformation, conspiracy theorists, blah, blah, blah. How trust the experts. I love that one too, especially after COVID and the shots and everything. It's you think that's good? Government paid for experts are who we're listening to? Like, come on. So
can I this is going to freak you out. I don't want to cut you off because I know you got so much to add to this because I want to keep you for a little bit. So if you're just joining us, we're on the line with Chris Webby, local MC, internationally known. He's the one who started pretty much the fire alarm when it comes to the use of DQuat in the waterways, Connecticut River in particular. He's on the line with us now. So I want to read this to you, okay? Because you just mentioned the media and pretty much calling for your head, saying that you're spreading mis and disinformation. I need to take a little moment with you and the audience to share with them something that the news media is clearly guilty of, and that is not telling the truth. Listen to this. Headline: New Fairfield residents protest plan to use herbicides on Candlewood Lake. Candlewood Lake. A plan to treat portions of the Candlewood Lake in New Fairfield with an herbicide to contain blue-green algae has sparked strong opposition from some residents and other towns that border the lake. To give you some background, Candlewood Lake is a man-made lake located in Fairfield and Litchfield counties of the western Connecticut part, in the northeastern part of the United States, as it describes itself in Wikipedia. It's 8.4 square miles, and it's the largest lake in Connecticut, the largest lake in the New York metropolitan area. And it borders Danbury and towns like Brookfield, New Fairfield, and New Milford and Sherman. Now listen to this. This is going to bug you out, Chris. An online petition against the proposal has gained more than 1,000 signatures. You're up to 19,000. But guess what that 1,000 signatures got them? This got them a public meeting where 250 people spoke against the use of DQuat. They wanted to use DQuat up to 60 acres and then use 160 acres, use copper sulfate to treat the blue algae, which blooms all over the area. They say, again, it's choking the waterway of Candlewood Lake. Well, because 250 people, many of them against the use of DQuat, they decided they would only use DQuat, after that outcry, for 10 acres. And the rest, they used sterile carp, the fish.
Right.
In 2 years, the carp not only got rid of the invasive algae, but all vegetation in the water. In 2 years, they ignored it. They put the carp in and then bounced and forgot about it. And the carp went there and did its job. It did clear the waterways, but then it got rid of every food supply for every other natural fish. So then they were forced to go back and remove the carp so that regular, vegetation could grow, which they did. They ended up removing the carp, and sure enough, regular vegetation grew, and it turns out that it was a success. The carp was a success. And who headed up this effort to use dequat in parts of the lake and to use the carp on the other? None other than Connecticut Deep.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that they knew nothing or know no other alternatives to get this done is a lie. In 2 years, the carp got rid of all vegetation. Now, all they need, and what we're finding out here is that if they're really concerned about it, just put the carp in the areas where they should be and remove them after it's necessary, and just keep moving the carp back and forth. It's far cheaper, less invasive, and less toxic than using dequat. So to suggest that they have no alternatives is a flat-out lie.
Yeah, it seems like, we're just kind of simply asking for them not to be completely incompetent, and they refuse to even acknowledge that we're talking.
Indeed.
It's unbelievable, really. It's unbelievable. And they just, I'm kind of being used as this lightning rod, like you said, and it's just like they're barking up the wrong tree, because I don't mind at all. In fact, I welcome it. So, they're lying to all of us. I mean, Ned Lamont has an environmental scandal going on in his state that is now national news, and this man refuses to even acknowledge it. He hasn't said the word diquat yet. He's still posting about things like as if this hasn't crossed his desk. I mean, if he is planning on running for election again, boy, oh boy.
Well, no, exactly. He even just put out a statement other than, I have nothing to do with it. That's the Army Corps of Engineers, which again flies in the face of the guy running around protesting every other week about the invasive nature of the Trump administration. Here we have actual invasive measures being done in the lake of the state he governs, and he's got nothing to do with it.
There are a few people in this state who probably care less about the environment than Ned Lamont. I mean, to learn more and more about what he did bordering his own property. I mean, I know a lot of people know that story. They call it the Chainsaw Massacre, where he had those trees cut down. But it was 186 trees that he had cut down so he could have a better view of a pond from his, $7.5 million house in Greenwich. I mean, that is so despicable. It turns my stomach. So, I mean, it's really no surprise that he doesn't care that our water's being poisoned.
I want to know if the pond that he tore down the trees to view will actually be treated with dequat as well. Probably not.
I wouldn't be surprised. I bet you he doesn't even understand what that chemical even is. He doesn't seem to have his finger on the pulse whatsoever. He's completely out of touch with the people, and we've known that for a while.
Yeah.
But on this one, I'm locked in on this one, and I think it's time we just stop letting these people slide and forget about things. It's just, I'm done with it. And these people need to be held accountable. This is serious.
Well,
and I'm not going to let it go.
Because I thought that I would need to keep you longer, but it doesn't look like I do. But I do want to get to this. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the fact that many politicians who have been fighting for this dequat usage have said that the EPA has studied the use of dequat extensively, even though by their own admission, after they wish to apply it, they say that they then need to go back to the waterways and test it every 3 to 6 months. They have to keep coming back and doing that year after year, every 3 months, testing the water, which again flies in the face of it's safe and effective. But I want to know this. Do you know when the EPA did its last comprehensive test on the use of dequat?
I don't, but I'd love to hear it.
According to the EPA's own website, which, by the way, the politicians tell us to go to, the last comprehensive study on dequat was in 1995, 30 years ago.
Wow.
Guess who did when China did their last comprehensive test?
I would assume more recently.
2019 and in 2023, as did the UK. Everybody did theirs within the last century, but the Environmental Protection Agency has not. And that's the study that they're using to say that it's safe and effective, a study 30 years ago.
Unbelievable. And they want us to trust them. It's really unbelievable. They're so smug about everything, too, the way they've been handling this. And I really think that, the people are collectively sick of that attitude of this, we know best, here's our experts, trust us. And they put out a notice window. I don't know if you knew this, but they had an official notice window and comment period that ended technically to their original posting yesterday.
Yep.
But they've been spraying since, I believe, the 5th or the 6th. So I'm not sure if that's illegal, but what's the point of having this 30-day window if you're going to spray within it, like spray pretty heavily?
Yeah, in fact,
I
it
don't
turns
even
out
understand.
that DEEP has a contract. DEEP is giving contracts to Massachusetts herbicide companies to spray lakes in and around Connecticut and putting up notices they're finding out the day before, if not the day of the spraying in their towns. We've got Railroad Pond. We've got Lake Hayward that's actually been sprayed. So it's everywhere. Chris Webby, actually, you know what? I am going to keep you. Stay on the line for a second. We're going to come back in a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about this, and we'll talk about what else you're doing to get the word out. So stand by. We got Chris Webby on the line, of course, local artist and muckraker extraordinaire, like your host. Let's get some weather, traffic, and some news. Jason Caterina's got weather, and Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. If you're southbound 91, delays Hartford 33 to 32. Again, another slowdown by exit 28. Sluggish again, 23 to 22 as you move Rocky Hill into Cromwell. And then after that, some slow traffic down in Meriden from 19 down to 17. Northbound 91, moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows 46 down to the Bulkley. 291 through 84, okay, 2 eastbound, moving well, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84 sluggish stop and go from the 691 interchange up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Newtown slowing from from 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. And 95 South New Haven tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Monday afternoon, mainly cloudy, warm, and humid. Couple of heavy thunderstorms around that could produce some flash flooding and localized damaging wind gusts, the high up to 85. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, warm, and humid. The low only down to 72. On Tuesday, mostly sunny, quite warm and humid with the high of 88. Mainly cloudy, warm, and humid Tuesday night, the low only 73. Wednesday, sunny, hot, and humid midweek with the high moving up to 90. Another hot and humid day Thursday. Some sun and turning cloudy. There'll be a thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon. The high back to 90. Thursday, still a thunderstorm in spots in the evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy. Very warm and humid. The low only 76. Hotter and humid on Friday with sun that increasing clouds. Couple of afternoon showers and a thunderstorm. The high up to 92. Saturday, partly sunny, less humid, not as hot, the high 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
79 degrees at 4:30. I'm John Silva. The man convicted in the beating death of the mother of his child was sentenced to 65 years behind bars today. Jose Morales convicted last April in the beating death of Christine Holloway in her Ansonia home nearly 6 years ago. Their daughter, Vanessa, 14 months old at the time, has not been found, and police are continuing their investigation into her whereabouts. Names of 2 people killed in a collision in Colchester have been released by state police. 27-year-old Carlos Bauer and 28-year-old Jennifer Leinbach died when their cars hit and rolled over. A third vehicle was involved in that crash Sunday on Cato Corbin Road and Corner Road. The 4 others were injured, including a pregnant woman. Governor Lamont activating the state's extreme hot weather protocol with temps expected in the 90s From Tuesday through Friday, along with high humidity, the governor says state agencies will partner with United Way 211 to look out for those most in need. Flames roared through an assisted living facility in Massachusetts on Sunday, killing 9 people and trapping residents inside, including some who leaned out of windows and screamed for help. At least 30 were injured. Wildfire in the Grand Canyon's north rim has destroyed the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and other structures. That fire was sparked by lightning July 4th. And Democratic State Representative Josh Elliott has officially announced plans to run for governor, or at least seek the party nomination. Fellow Democrat Governor Lamont says his announcement on whether to seek a third term will come in the fall. On Wall Street this afternoon, markets finished up, modest gains. The Dow up 88. NASDAQ gained 54, and the S&P was up 8 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
It's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're going to get Chris Webby back in a second. We're going to continue to talk to him about the recent article that came out of Fox 61, which prompted me to write a letter to the writer of the article. Now, I want you to hear this because if you didn't see the report, you would lose your mind if you heard it for the first time. Now, think about this. We've had Chris Webby on here for a while. You've gone to the petition. You've signed it, or maybe you just read it. You probably read stories about it. But to read this headline this weekend, in my view, drove me nuts and, again, compelled me to write the writer. U.S. Environmental Protection Agency denies the use of DQuat in Connecticut River this year. The EPA confirmed there has been no government-led applications of DQuat in Connecticut waters this year, but they occurred in the past and may occur again. It also goes on to say the U.S. Environmental Agency responded Friday to widespread rumors that it used DQuat in the Connecticut River to control the invasive hydrilla this year. Now, in the article, they're talking about Chris Webby's post. Chris Webby never said that they were using DQuat in the water. His alert in his post was that the EPA was going to be using it after July 4th. Why? Because they had put out a statement saying that they would. That was the whole premise of his post. But Fox 61 is trying to suggest that it was rumored that they had used it already, which was never done. And then what's even worse, and I'll talk to Chris Webby about it, is they take two EPA statements and try to conflate them while never attributing them to different people. Just saying it was it was just an overarching comment by the EPA, which we know is untrue, which I also addressed. I'll talk to Chris Webby about that as well. As you all know, on Friday's show, we talked about it. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said that he knew nothing about DQuad being sprayed in Connecticut rivers, and he was going to be transparent and make sure that he got to the bottom of it and then told us what he found out. But Fox 61 says that the EPA had acknowledged that the rumor and the use of DQuad's Connecticut River this year led much discussion and speculation, especially on social media platforms. Lee Zeldin never said that. He never even addressed social media platforms or controversy or discussions. He never once did in his statement. That's an outright lie. And because they don't even attribute it, they just say the EPA, which again could have been two different people. They don't even make that apparent in the article. So we'll talk about that. I don't even know if he's read this, but he should. So I wrote them a letter telling them that their own reporting on the 3rd contradicts everything they wrote on the 11th. I haven't heard back yet. Go figure. And they won't. So we'll talk to Chris Webby about that and much, much more, especially about this Candlewood Lake. And also if he knows about the eco-harvesting. I want to know if he knows anything about that. We'll talk to him about that in a little bit, so stand by. Chris Webby joins us shortly. Let's get to weather and traffic with Jason Caterino in weather, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
Well, we're doing pretty good out here, Reese. Nothing major going on at this time. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, we've got some slow traffic, Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. We do have a crash in Southington, westbound between exit 31 and 30. The shoulders are closed out there, so use caution with that. If you're traveling 91 northbound on the Rocky Hill Weathersfield line, 3-vehicle crash. The 2 right lanes are out between 24 and 25-26, so stay left there. Looks like delays are pushing back to looks like it's just about back to exit 24 behind that now. If you're traveling beyond that, a good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Southbound 91's a little slow, 33 down to 32. Again, down by exit 28. You'll slow again from 22 to 21 in Cromwell, and more delays 19 to 17 in Meriden on the southbound side of 91. 291, 384 okay, 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge, westbound 84 tight in Cheshire, approaching 26 to the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound in Newtown delays from 8 up to exit 11 in Newtown, westbound 84 slows 11 to 9 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing 60 into the West Rock. 95 South slows 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
WTIC weather.
We got some rain starting to pop off around New Britain and down toward Meriden and just south of Waterbury right now. And then Woodbury down to Southbury, some very heavy rain going on. That's the newest spot where we've got the flash flood warning in effect that goes through the early part of the evening. A flood watch in effect for most of the area as we head through the rest of the evening hours as well. We've got some very slow-moving thunderstorms producing not only a ton of lightning, but some very heavy rain. They're moving very, very slowly, so dumping 2 to 3 inches of rain in spots, and that's created some flash flooding concerns. So if you do find any of that flash flooding out there, please turn around, find yourself an alternate route. Do not try and cross flooded out areas, as most flooding does occur in vehicles. Find yourself a different route. Heat advisory in effect then from 11 a.m. Tuesday until 7 p.m. Thursday. Going to be very hot and humid the next couple of days, or feel very hot and humid the next couple of days. A thunderstorm in spots this evening, partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, the low 72. Mostly sunny, quite warm and humid on Tuesday, the high of 88. Wednesday, sunny, hot and humid, the high to 90. Some sun early Thursday, then turning cloudy with a thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon. Again, hot and humid, the high back to 90. Hot, humid, sun, then increasing clouds with a couple afternoon showers and a thunderstorm Friday, the high up to 92. Right now, it's 75 in New London, 85 in New Haven, 77 in Mansfield, and 80 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Join us for the first annual Go Tacos Tequila and Taps Festival at Duncan Park, July 24th through the 26th. Presented by the Hartford Yard Goats. Enjoy live bands, more than 20 brands of tequila, and dozens of craft beers, wines, and spirits. For ticket info, visit GoTacosTequilaTaps.com.
Want a career that's exciting and full of growth? Join Odyssey's Sales Associate Program. Get the training you need in advertising, marketing, and digital, and be a part of a team that's shaping the future of multimedia. Visit OdysseyInc.com/careers and search Sales Associate under Farmington CT.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
They're already telling me that I should let you spit bars on air, Webby. I swear to goodness, they forget what kind of show this is. Chris Webby is joining us on the lines. And we'll get into actually, because I know you're touring now, or at least doing some shows and stuff. We'll get into that in a second. So this Fox 61 article that's suggesting that your disinformation or misinformation, we're telling the masses that they had already sprayed the waters with DQuat. And that was where the problem started, was that they were clearing up these rumors that we've already sprayed it. Do you want to respond to that?
Well, I mean, initially, obviously, that's not what I said at all. Now, that's very much what I am saying. I have video of these places where it has the signs. It says what they sprayed, and they absolutely have started spraying DQuat. So there's a lot of lies being told here. And, you know, the only thing about my whole stance on this, because pretty much everything I've said regarding this is, in fact, simply information, not misinformation. The only thing is my own personal speculation where, like, I mean, is there something more sinister going on here? We live in a world where we're being poisoned from every direction, chemtrails, food, everything that happened with the pandemic. You know, we've been lied to for these nefarious agendas time and time again. So, yeah, I'm not saying that's 100% what's going on. Is it what I think? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But, you know, it's also not completely out of the question or ridiculous to think these things in 2025.
And it shouldn't be a thought crime. It should not be a thought crime for you to suggest,
absolutely
wait, why would they, other than financial benefit, why would they possibly want to poison the waterways? Right?
And why are they rushing it? Why are they rushing it? They had the opportunity, like I said before, to have a discussion with us. We were clearly concerned about this, caught off guard. So why rush it through in that 30-day window that they said they wouldn't spray, and then they went ahead and rushed through to spray with these Massachusetts outsourced companies, Water and Wetlands LLC, or as I call them, Water and Wasteland LLC, courtesy of Keith Hannon from Concord, Mass. I mean, we got a lot of people outsourced from another state coming down to poison our water and making these decisions to poison our water. As a Connecticut resident, that makes me quite upset. But, let me just for a moment take a second, because we finally got, it looks like a couple hours ago, word from Governor Lamont on his Twitter about water. It just has nothing to do with dicot. He said he's proud to have signed a new state law requiring public water systems in Connecticut to maintain the existing levels of fluoride used in water supplies. So now, which is unbelievable, man. I could not. When I saw water, I'm like, oh, finally he's acknowledging this. No, he wants to keep the same levels of fluoride that have been poisoning us and fossilizing our pineal glands for all these years. He doesn't want to change a thing. Now, if that doesn't sound like a Dr. Evil type of guy who might be, tinkering with some nefarious stuff, then I don't know what is.
I find
really.
Here's what I can't understand about Lamont and this issue. California has protested the use of dicot and stopped doing it in many of the places where they protested, right? They've considered the environment. This guy who cannot stop riding the strap of California and its politicians, Ned Lamont, has not even thought to even address this issue. But I want to go one step further. I need to ask you, if I could, kind of a personal question. Do you have any children at the age of where they don't listen, where you have to repeat stuff, or you might catch them sneaking doing the thing that you told them not to do? Like, around usually like the 8, 9, maybe even 5 or 6 age.
I don't have any children.
Okay.
But I know the mentality where it's like, ooh, you're about to get in trouble. And then they run off and try to do something real quick, which seems like what they're doing right now.
Exactly. Like a kid trying to steal a cookie from the cookie jar. You catch them and you say no. And then when you're not looking, you catch them, getting the little step ladder and then trying to get in when no one's looking. Well, guess what? It turns out that Connecticut Deep is the same way. Because we already mentioned in 2017 that at the Candlewood Lake that people protested the use of dicot, and they went another route by bringing in the carp. And we also know about the protest that you started here in 2025 on change.org. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in the Candlewood Lake petition, they got 1,000 signatures and 250 people who came forward to speak up. And then in 2025, you were able to get over 19,000 signatures to stop the use of dicot. Well, it turns out that I missed another protest, and it looks like Deep keeps trying to put its hand in the cookie jar. Guess what I found? 2020 petition from change.org, created on October 12th of 2020, titled End the Use of Herbicides on Public Bodies of Water in Connecticut. They, too, in 2020, in October 12th, were signing a petition that got 2,101 signatures, which, of course, caused them to put a pause on it in 2020. And here we are in 2025. You're getting 19,000 signatures, and they're screaming mis and disinformation, which, by the way, in the 2017 story and in the 2020 story, no media outlets released any stories calling mis and disinformation on people's concern. But now they are.
It was in national news,
Yeah, exactly.
and now they're trying to get the narrative out of my hands, but unfortunately they're just messing with the wrong one. And we have the facts on our side, and I'm not just some person, who's just going to make a little petition and then quiet back down. Like, nah, I got my teeth sunk in this. I'm not letting it go. I'm quite stubborn, and I have quite a large base, and I don't intend to take my eyes off
But it's a big,
not
you know
for a
what?
second.
It's a huge reason. Listen, I'm talking about this on a personal level, not because, look, I don't think that you're a vindictive guy. I don't think that you're a bitter guy. I don't even know you, but I don't think you're that kind of guy.
I'm right and wrong.
Yeah,
I'm right
exactly.
and wrong.
And the thought part about this is that I'm telling you, at least I get this impression from you, having talked to you so far. It's not so much about smearing your name. It's about the efforts to smear your name to increase the opportunity for them to poison the water. Because remember what the objective is. The objective is to smear you so they can continue to do nefarious things to the people of Connecticut. That's the end game. Smearing you only gets you out of the way so they can do what they plan on doing, and that's getting D-Quad in the water, which again only incites me more. You know what I mean?
They're not going to get me out of the way. So, you know, I don't know what they really think they're going to gain by this, sending their little experts to, you know, misinformation. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. It's not going to work with me. And you know what? Like you said, they're barely announcing this. They're putting up these little signs. I mean, I've got people who have shot videos of people out on their boats swimming in this, fishing. A lot of people don't even know, and they're going in the water the next day.
Exactly.
You know, like, so this is a public health risk. I initially got into it because of the wildlife. When I saw what was going on down in Texas, I'm seeing dead turtles. My buddy saw a dead snapping turtle floating in Crescent Lake up in Southington the day after they sprayed. And I find that to be quite coincidental.
Right.
You know, and I mean, those things live forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, to have really no wounds on it, he shot a video of it just floating with its tail up in the air, just down the water. It's like, you know, that got me in it in the first place because I love nature. And I think we're already overdeveloping at such a disgusting rate in this country, you know, in Connecticut in particular. I grew up in Norwalk. It's like, there's like 8 trees left, you know, like obviously that's sarcastic, but you know what I mean? It's a different town than I grew up in.
No, I mean, it is. You're 100% right. Chris, I never even knew this about you on a personal level. So you're a really, really kind of, you know, I hate to put it, you're kind of a tree hugging rapper if I'm getting that right. I'm not saying that disparagingly.
I love nature, man. I love nature. I love animals. You know, I grew up, like I said, in Norwalk, so I grew up right on Linden Street, where in one of the condos when I was a kid, and I remember just seeing that whole area get completely cut down to build the Bob store and the Stop and Shop first, then to build a housing development next to it. So it's like to see what we've done to nature since I was a kid here and know the effects that has. It's never sat right with me. Nature's an innocent to all of this. You know?
I think
now to be poison in the water.
Right.
It's just,
I think the importance of what you're talking about is, in essence, and these are places where, of course, you probably played and you navigated through as a kid,
right?
You know, went and played, you know, be it, I don't know, Cowboys and Indians or hide and go seek, whatever the case may be. This was a playground to you in Norwalk, and to see them gone, you have this sense of nostalgia. So when you see your nature in that way, or at least in your neighborhood eroding and becoming sort of like this modernized, I want to call it a concrete jungle as opposed to
hellscape. I think hellscape works pretty well too with these soulless structures. They all look the same. It's just, you know, the architecture isn't even interesting anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I will admit that. I will admit that.
But, you know, development is one thing.
Yeah.
Poisoning the water is just, it's the straw that's breaking this camel's back. That's just where I'm at.
Well, as my wife said
Friday,
water is life. And that's the way we need to look at this. They're all alternatives. Oh, that's what I meant to ask you. So have you heard about this company called C&D Underwater Maintenance? Are you familiar with them at all?
I'm not familiar with that company. Do they offer an alternative treatment option?
It's called an eco harvester, and it's being used.
Is that the one with the conveyor belt?
Yes,
I've seen those. They look great.
They are. They're fantastic. In fact, you know, we've got a listener, you know, White Mike out of Florida. He calls up all the time. He was the first person to tell us that, you know, they use manatees and they use these eco harvesters. And we had Representative Muir on the line, and she said that these eco harvesters only go a few feet down in the water. And then, of course, as social media and as this show sort of progresses and becomes larger, we get a text message from somebody who shows an eco harvester in the Pacific Ocean. So it's like this nonsense that an eco harvester can only be used in certain feet of water. We find out that there are eco harvesters that are used in oceans. Oh, and one better, Jeffrey, his guy's name is Jeffrey Corndisco of C&D. He told us that they have divers who go in and actually suck this thing up from the root. So there are alternatives, and no one's looking at them, and they keep telling us and gaslighting us that there are no other ways to eradicate this problem. They're saying that D-Quad is the only way. And it's only digging them a bigger hole because the more delay that we put on them, the more information we're gathering.
Absolutely. The only downside I've heard about the eco harvester is it can also harvest native plants.
Yes.
But like dicot kills everything.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be better to naturally harvest this. I mean, they got $11 million for a budget strictly for hydrilla over a 2-year period.
Exactly.
It's like we can't buy a couple of those eco harvesters and create some jobs. We gotta just go.
It turns out
C&D.
It turns out C&D underwater maintenance, they're not only people who use eco harvesters, they're actual dealers of the boats. They sell them. So they've got
like
plenty on
$100K
hand.
or something like that.
Yeah, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
So
you factor you got 11. It was 5 million and 6 million Blumenthal raised for this hydrilla thing. So it's like I think you could buy a couple of those and pay some salaries. I'm no math expert. I'm not an economist, but I'm pretty sure they could afford a couple of these.
Look, you don't have to be listen, I always say this. I don't have to be an electrician to know that I shouldn't stick a fork in the outlet. You know what I mean? No,
right,
I'm pretty sure you can figure out $5-6 million to pay a couple of people a couple of years to get this done in an environmentally safe way instead of using a poison.
And here's the thing, Reese. We all collectively don't need to be experts to know that we shouldn't be dumping poisonous dicot into our rivers and lakes.
Indeed.
That's just it, plain and simple.
What do you got going on now? If anyway, I mean, where do people go to check you out? I mean, other than on X and stuff like that, are you going to be performing here in Connecticut?
Well, I do Black Friday every single year at Toad's Place. This one coming up will be the 16th, 15th annual, 15th or 16th, one of them. So I do that every Black Friday. And I got a New Hampshire show coming up, a Maine show coming up. I'm actually flying out to the UK tomorrow.
Okay, but where can they go? So where can they go? They go to chriswebby.com? Where are we going?
Chris Webby. Just look me up. It's as easy as finding the side effect of dicot.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, man. Godspeed to you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Reese. I appreciate you having this conversation with me, too, man. It's important.
You got it, sir. All right, folks, we'll get back. We'll recap this and, of course, take your phone calls. We got Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Heading into Hartford right now. Northbound side of 91, we have a crash just prior to 2526 in Wethersfield. This traffic report is being brought to you by Amplify CT, and that crash is taken out to 2 right lanes just prior to 2526 in Wethersfield. Delays are approaching exit 24 for the Silestine Highway. Behind that, once you get around that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Southbound 91's a little slow at 32 A and B. Again, 27 to 28. You'll see another slowdown as you move between exit 21 and 20 down into Middletown, and another slowdown 19 to 17 in Meriden. Westbound side of 84 slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 45 Flatbush. If you're eastbound side of 84, you're looking at delays now from just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. 2 westbound slowing as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. And again, 32 up to 34 in New Britain. If you're eastbound 84 Waterbury, some sluggish traffic 17 to 18. Westbound 84 is tied up in Cheshire, approaching 26 to the Mixmaster. And 95 South New Haven slowing 46 to 44 in New Haven. Feeling the pressure? Press pause. Seriously, stepping away to play, even for a little while, reduces stress, boosts your mood, and sharpens focus. Reclaim your calm. Press pause. Go play. Feel better. It works. Visit amplifyct.org for more ideas to amplify your mental health. Traffic and weather together on the 8s WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. We can turn the traffic sounder down. That'd be amazing. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man convicted in the death of the mother of his still missing daughter learned his fate today. Jose Morales was sentenced to 65 years in prison for the murder of Christine Holloway. She was found in her Ansonia home in December of 2019, having been beaten to death. Their daughter, Vanessa, was 14 months old at the time and is still missing. At sentencing today, Holloway's aunt, Anna Rodonsky, addressed the court, and Morales in particular.
What was done to my niece, Christine Holloway, is unforgivable and disgusting, and that monster continues to lie. Where is Vanessa? How could someone be so cruel? I hope that he stays in prison forever and ever, so he can't hurt anyone else ever again.
During trial, Morales had claimed he was high on drugs when intruders broke into the Myrtle Avenue home and killed Holloway. And Sonia police say they are continuing the investigation into Vanessa's whereabouts and ask anyone who may have information to give them a call. Officials in Fall River, Massachusetts are calling it an unfathomable tragedy, a fire at an assisted living facility on Sunday.
Firefighters in Fall River, about 50 miles south of Boston, say they could have saved more lives had they had more manpower. They say that prevented them from having an adequate response to the deadly fire. Union officials say the closing of fire stations and cutbacks on staff in the city have been a problem for decades.
Correspondent Jim Krasula, 9 people were killed, 30 others injured. Hampden State Representative Josh Elliott is the first Democrat in the 2026 race for governor. He is seeking the party's nomination, promising to do things differently than incumbent Governor Lamont, who has not said if he'll run for a third term definitively. WTIC's Dave Mager with more from Hampden.
Elliott says, unlike Governor Lamont, he won't be shy about taxing millionaires more.
We will talk candidly about a tax code that currently rewards wealth instead of work.
And Elliott is with other progressives critical of Lamont's recent vetoes of an affordable housing bill and a plan to compensate striking workers.
These are not small bills. They're not small ideas. These are things that the legislature has been working on for years. And the fact is the governor is simply not with us.
State Senator Saud Anwar turned out to endorse Elliott, saying Connecticut needs someone other than Lamont to address draconian budget cuts from President Trump. In Hampden, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Connecticut's joining a lawsuit with 24 other states after the Trump administration froze billions in federal education funding.
School districts, administrators, boards of education, teachers are now looking down the barrel of an unprecedented, draconian, catastrophic cut to funding.
State Attorney General William Tong.
And that's why the state of Connecticut today has sued with 25 other states. We've sued the Trump administration, the Department of Education, over a $6.8 billion cut to education that has already been allocated and appropriated to the states.
Connecticut was set to receive over $50 million of that money. Tong says summer programs and teacher training are among the areas that are being hit. Waterbury police have named a suspect in the fatal shooting of a teenage girl last week. They say their man is 40-year-old Shamar Atwater. It was just before 3 on Friday morning. 17-year-old Charisma Fox of Waterbury was found on Willow Street suffering from a gunshot wound. She died at an area hospital. Detectives say a disturbance preceded that shooting. A warrant for Atwater's arrest has been issued, charging him with murder and other weapons offenses. President Trump threatening retaliatory measures against Russia.
President Trump announced secondary tariffs on Russia's trading partners if the country does not end its war with Ukraine in 50 days. His frustration growing with President Putin.
I felt that we had a deal about 4 times. And here we are, still talking about it.
He said the tariffs would total 100% while meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. Rutte said European allies will buy U.S. military equipment, including Patriot missile defense batteries, and transfer it to Ukraine.
This whole deal is also about missiles or ammunition.
Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Wall Street, the Dow finished up 88 points. The NASDAQ gained 54, and the S&P was up 8 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Low testosterone affects many men today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low-T treatment isn't so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick. As a Promenic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get you the right treatment for your particular medical situation. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improve mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I wasn't even ready for you. Yeah, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, NewsTalk 1080. And, of course, I want to thank Chris Webby for being here, coming back. Just want to show him some love to just, he's the person who's responsible for all this. He needs it. I know he doesn't care. But if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have this subject to talk about. And we wouldn't have the victories that we're having because of it. Let me use this minute and a half to talk, because I talked to him about that article, that letter that I sent to Fox 61, which they have not responded to yet, for good reason, I suggest. Oh, I believe, I should say. This is Reese on the radio for WTIC in Hartford. I'm reaching out to request clarification for your article titled, "The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Denies the Use of Dicot in Connecticut Rivers This Year." And I should, you know what, I'll take some time in a little bit to read most of what the contradictions were in the article that I wrote out. And again, I don't expect them to respond, but that was the reason why I'm writing to them, is for them not to. Because I don't think that I don't think that they believe they have to respond to their reporting. I think the objective is put out whatever you want, say whatever you want, and no one is either the wiser or no one, I guess, holds them to account. We'll see. I'll reach out to them again. I'm not going to let up. I just want to know why the reports contradict themselves in the same network, as it did in the Connecticut Mirror. One person writes, they're putting poison in the water. Another person in the same publication the next day says, it's nothing. I don't know. Let's get weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
Reese, well, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the northbound side of I-91 as you move up into Wethersfield right now, not only are we dealing with a little rain, but we had an accident, and it's still blocking the 2 right lanes, 91 northbound up by 25-26. So look for delays right now, pushing back. Right now, back to exit 23 West Street and Rocky Hill behind that. Once you get around that, good ride up into Hartford. Southbound 91 slowing 33 down to 32 A and B, again 27 to 28. And it's a little slow again in Meriden, 19 down to 17. Westbound 84 is tied up 56 Governor Street to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing, approaching 46 down to the Bulkley. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 north and southbound a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire is tight, approaching exit 26 up to the Mixmaster. And if you are heading in toward New Haven, South 95 delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Got a little bit of moderate rainfall around Bristol and Wolcott right now, and then down just north of Beacon Falls. Some very, very heavy rainfall, though, from Southbury down to Newtown, Bethel, south of Danbury area. That's where we've got some flash flood warnings going on. We do have a flood watch in effect through this evening, then a heat advisory in effect over the next couple of days, as it's going to be very humid and quite warm and hot at times. So use caution out there tonight. If you do encounter any flooded out areas, please turn around, don't drown, find an alternate route. Most flooding does occur in vehicles. Don't become a statistic. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots. Otherwise, partly cloudy, warm and humid, the low 72. On Tuesday, mostly sunny, quite warm and humid, the high of 88. Hot and humid Wednesday, the high up to 90. Hot and humid again Thursday, a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, the high back to 90. Hotter on Friday, sun then increasing clouds, couple of afternoon showers and the thunderstorm, but the high up to 92. Right now, down to 75 in Waterbury with the rain, 74 in Danbury, 77 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
You know, every kid deserves to look their best, especially on their first day of school. Bring your new or like new school clothes like sweaters, sweatshirts, and coats to Eddie Jordan's Furniture. And Cradles to Crayons will make sure they help a child in need.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
New grad? Want a career that's exciting and full of growth? Join Odyssey's Sales Associate program. Get the training you need in advertising, marketing, and digital, and be a part of a team that's shaping the future of multimedia. Visit odysseyinc.com/careers and search Sales Associate under Farmington CT.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never meant it was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we got movie news I got to get into, and of course I got the stupidest thing I read today. I know that when we have a guest, I always push those back to the last hour of the show, just because I don't want to take away from the guest and just confuse the whole thing. I don't want to make a mess. I wanted to give a shout out to Zerp on X, who just sent me something I did not know. My wife has been bugging me about getting an RV, and that's her thing. She wants an RV. Who doesn't at a certain age? And by the way, if you have one, I know you're going to send me some messages and say, Reese, here's why you should get one. I'm sold. You don't have to sell me on them. Hell, send me your pictures anyway. If you have an RV, send them to me. Send them to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Wherever it is you got them, just send them to me, and I will send them to me on Facebook. That's another place you can send them. Send them on Facebook, because I want to see what kind of RVs you got out there. I actually like looking at them. But Zerp sent me one and said, Reese, a lot of RVs have this toilet with the sink on the back of them. And I was like, I didn't think of that, because a lot of small RVs have to pretty much compact everything in there. You know, that small little bathroom, it can fit if you're tall like me, you probably can't fit in those things. But if you're in one of those C-class RVs, for those of you who don't know what those are it's like half pickup truck, half trailer. Behind, they have a smaller version that almost looks like it's a truck. It's like small Winnebago. It's got the van front in it, and it's got the little bed on top of it. You know which ones. You've seen them. Those are called the C-Class. Those, you have to put everything inside of that in a very tight compartment. And, yeah, it makes sense that the sink would be right behind the toilet. So, like, a fifth wheel's much bigger. A fifth wheel is, forget about it. That's got all of it. That's a house. It's a rolling double wide, as they say. That's what a fifth wheel is, Lori. My wife loves those, which I think is not cost effective, and let me tell you why. I like the A class, right? The rolling like tour bus kind of deal. I like that because it gives you an opportunity to sort of feel like I'm big rig trucking. And I get the CB thing. But the fifth wheel, you pull it with usually a big giant pickup truck, Ford 250, maybe a 350, pretty big pickup truck. It's just that when you're pulling all of that, your gas mileage goes from like 17 to like 2 miles per hour or miles per gallon. So it's bad. So I would just grab the A class, big rig kind of trucking thing. Let's get to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Steve in Waterbury. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Hey, why don't you get a Greyhound with a trailer behind it?
There you go. That's what I was thinking. You know what? We can gut the Greyhound. Right? Get all the seats out of it, and then the compartment on the bottom, we can turn that into something else like storage or whatever. But a Greyhound bus would be, every time I see a tour bus, I don't care who the band is. It could be a folk band. I always ask the driver, can I take a tour? Because the tour bus they look great. They're fantastic.
Absolutely.
If I was going to buy one, I would buy a used tour bus.
There you go. Hey, I was thinking, Ralph Nader was part of the Green Party. He lives in Winston, Connecticut. He's an advocate for things like this here. He probably could help get the ball rolling with connections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I also think it'd be great if Webby could do a song about this, really get some attention about it. The other thing I was going to mention, I predict there's going to be a big class action suit eventually with the makers of that chemical. I think there's a few that make it.
Yeah.
I wonder what.
It's so funny, Steve, because there are questions. I was going over my research, and a point of reference in all of this was Chris Webby is being cited because he used GPT. Mm-hmm. And they almost tried to suggest his usage of that was why it was mis and disinformation. In other words, not to trust those things. So it sent me on this errand to use all of these AI devices to get to the answers about DQuat and about its use and about it. It's funny that everywhere I looked on Google, on Bing, on DuckDuckGo, they had no stories about Candlewood Lake. But all of the AI packages that I went through, from ChatGPT to Gronk to what's this other one, the Microsoft Copilot, they all had the links. They all did.
Gotcha. Hey, two more things.
Yeah.
If plants get uprooted, we could always kind of like farm it, get it back to where it should be. And the other thing is, all these politicians, all these people that want to do this, we should ask them what side of history they want to be on.
Yeah.
When eventually there is that class action suit.
That's exactly right. Because I think it's warranted to, maybe we need to preemptively strike. Because,
that's what I'm at.
Yeah, I think preemptively strike and just go to the national level of the EPA.
Yes.
Send a letter to the EPA and say, hey, look, your local apparatus, whatever it may be, is planning on using this. As we already know, Lee Zeldin knows nothing about it, right? Because they're representing the federal office of the Environmental Protection Agency. So if they are working out of bounds or out of step with the Trump administration, then that's something we need to address so we can have those people hauled into Washington and say, hey, what the hell are you doing? And are you doing this with our letterhead, in essence, on the behest of the rest of us, because we don't approve of this.
What's your thoughts about reaching out to Nader?
I'm sure I can get somebody. I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure we can holler at Joey, see if we can get Nader. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. I don't see why we wouldn't.
At least run it up the flagpole,
Yeah, you know what? I will do that. I'll send Joey a text message today. See if we can get to some.
He's the man.
You got it, boss man. Thank you, sir.
All right.
You got it. Yeah, why not? He's a pretty powerful voice here in Connecticut. He's actually, yeah. Do you know my first? I don't know if I told this story about Ralph Nader, but my first interaction with Connecticut media was WFSB in March of 2004. It was probably earlier than that because I know it was before we set the broadcast in April. And a woman from WFSB, I'm almost certain it was Susan Raff in her heyday, but walked up to me. I know she was a blonde woman. It may not have been Susan Raff, but it could possibly be. But walked up to me as I was leaving the Big Y. We were just sort of navigating Connecticut before we broadcast on April 1st. And the woman walked up to me and she says, "Hey, sir, can I ask you about the presidential election?" And Ralph Nader had just announced that he was joining in the 2004 campaign. And she says, "Can I ask you about the presidential election?" And I looked at Miguel and I said, "Yeah, sure." She says, "What do you think about Ralph Nader getting into the race?" And I looked her right in the eye and I said, "Oh, well, then I think it's appropriate for me to say congratulations, George W. Bush, on your reelection." That's what I said. That was my first ever question about Ralph Nader in my entire radio career. That was the first time I ever made any public comments about him. Was congratulations, George W. Bush, on your reelection. Because I knew it. Everybody then knew it too. It was in every newspaper thereafter saying that Ralph Nader was the reason why John Kerry lost. I knew it then. I did. I knew it then. The Connecticut Examiner wrote an article too. Says, after viral post spreads, DeQuat fears a chorus of condemnation, but little said on the science. That was a really, really good article. I'm going to post this on my Facebook page as well. I read it over the weekend. It even mentions in the article the European Union did not renew the approval for the use of DeQuat in 2018 following an assessment by the European Food Safety Authority that identified that the herbicide as posing a high risk to workers, bystanders, and residents, as well as birds. Again, the European Food Safety Authority identified that the herbicide as posing a high risk to workers, bystanders, and residents, as well as birds. In contrast, the Environmental Protection Agency published a fact sheet stating that DeQuat had minimal effects on humans after application. The agency did not warn that there were higher risks to eye contact and inhalation, and that respirators and eye protection was required for workers who spray it. Again, let me repeat that. In contrast, the Environmental Protection Agency